When hope springs eternal, and for the youngsters a chance to see the players up close, and for the players a chance to get ready. Yet one more opportunity to be the best there is in baseball. Today, Miguel Gonzalez on the mound as the Orioles play the Red Sox. The Orioles on Masson, our first broadcast of the 2016 season. And we welcome you. Ed Smith Stadium is the site. Sarasota, Florida, the spring training home of the Orioles. Red Sox in town for this debut. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. Great to be back with you. And I know all of you. Great to be back into baseball. This is where we last left you. At the end of last season for the Orioles, it ended up being a 500 year. They would finish with a record of 81-81 in the middle of the pack in the American League East that was won by the Blue Jays. The Red Sox, they had a very disappointing start to the season, ended up in last place in the American League East. However, and probably true again this year, the American League East division had the least amount of game differential between the top and the bottom, and no reason to believe it won't be that tight again this year. So, Mike Mordick, great to be back with you.
It sure is.
How's
awesome
it look here in the middle of spring training?
It looks great. I'll tell you what, I think this team is going to be better than they were last year. They're riding a wave of confidence. 4 consecutive years of winning baseball. Buck Showalter came into camp with the same coaching staff, basically. These guys have been together for 4 years. It is clockwork right now in spring training. The veteran guys know what they do. Everybody else is following along. This is one of the smoothest and best-run camps going, I think, in Major League Baseball. Best I've ever experienced. And even the new guys that have come in said, Buck Showalter's got it right. I mean, everything is done with perfect detail.
Well, we're going to have a chance to talk about that as we go through the game today. We'll see what could very well be the starting lineup for the Baltimore Orioles come opening day. Spring training baseball from Sarasota, Florida is next. By Sarasota. There's so much to see and do in the beaches and islands of Sarasota's Florida Gulf Coast. Go beyond the stadium. Siesta Beach, named winner of the 2015 TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice Awards for beaches. You can plan right now at visitsarasota.org. Lots of sunshine, few clouds around today, but a gorgeous day. The wind probably will end up blowing out before we get too far along in this game, so it must be spring training. Or you can be on the beach. Take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup. A lot of their starters here on this trip, including Mookie Betts, Holt and Young, Shaw, Murphy, and Craig. Jackie Bradley Jr. will be patrolling in the outfield. Morel and Vasquez coming off a year that he missed with Tommy John surgery. Brock Holt, you see the numbers versus the Orioles last year.
Yeah, let's take a look at Miguel Gonzalez's scouting report here in spring training. Looking for a bounce-back season. Last year, got roughed up a little bit, but I think it was due to the fact a couple of stints on the disabled list. Now, Miguel has to rely on his fastball location. Crucial for most pitchers, but for Miguel, he needs to get there. But staying healthy, we mentioned 2 stints last year on the DL really set him back, and he's got to trust the feel. He's a very mechanical pitcher. Sometimes he gets into it too much instead of just stepping on the rubber and competing. And I think pitching coach Dave Wallace and Dom Chidi have been working with him this spring. Get that fire going early in spring training and trust what you've been working on your whole life.
All right, we are ready to go as Miguel Gonzalez will be working against Mookie Betts, making the start in right field. Pitch is in there for a strike. Chad Fairchild has the plate. John Hirschbeck, the crew chiefs at first. Bill Welke and Paul Emmel, the other umpires. There are the numbers you saw for Mookie Betts, and they are good. They're going to have some offense again this season, and maybe even a little better pitching. The Orioles still looking for that starting staff. Buck Showalter wanting the more innings out of each one of them to try and save that bullpen a little bit. And looking for Miguel Gonzalez to have himself a solid season. It's so important.
Well, it's certainly been a key. I think when the Orioles have had success, pitchers have been pitching to contact. Best defense in the game right here with the Baltimore Orioles. They hang their hat on their defense and, pitched a good low contact.
That one out to shallow center. Jonathan Scope will go back and haul it in. Betts is retired.
Take a look at this great defense by the Baltimore Orioles. Joey Rickard, Rule 5 pick, will be out in left field. Jones getting the start in center. Trumbo in right field. Hardy and Scope, the double play combination up the middle. Gold Glover, Manny Machado over at third. Chris Davis just signing the big contract back at first. And Matt Wieters behind the plate.
That'll bring Brad Holt against Gonzalez. Holt getting the start at second base, where Dustin Pedroia will be their starter. Holt, though, will definitely be involved with the ball club. He's one of the players right now. Looks as though he'll be a bench player for this team, and a productive one last season. In at third base, Manny Machado just off the cut of the grass. And the pitch will catch the inside corner from Gonzalez.
Yeah, Brock Holt, one of those versatile players, one of the better ones in the game, can play anywhere on the field. Never affects his offensive approach. A very good contact hitter. A lot of pressure on pitchers. Works the count and gets deep.
Breaking ball that will miss outside. For Miguel Gonzalez, this will be his second spring training start. He worked against Tampa Bay for an inning and a third. 7 runs on 8 hits in that ball game. Said he felt good. Location just wasn't there. And fastball velocity maybe not right where he wanted it. Holt will jackknife away from that one. Coming into the year, 39 wins, 33 losses in his career. The Orioles, 95 game starts, 101 games that Miguel Gonzalez has performed in. And a couple of years ago, one of the big surprise pitchers in Major League Baseball. Holt got a hold of that one to right field. Trumbo will go back at the wall, looking up, and goodbye home run. Holt delivers the long ball, and the Red Sox are on the board.
Well, Holt works himself into a good hitter's count, and he has a short, quick bat. Squared that one up. Ball carries really well in spring training, but nice confidence there for Brock Holt, getting the Red Sox on the board. Fastball elevated, though, inside, and look how short he gets that bat head to the baseball. And just carrying out over Trumbo's head there. Mistake pitch on Miguel Gonzalez, known to give up the homers. Many times a solo home run.
A lot of solo shots last year given up, and Gonzalez gives one up here to the second batter face. Here's Chris Young. Young in the DH role that Big Papi will have. David Ortiz during the season. Breaking ball will miss inside for a ball. Chris Young, though, is going to be involved with this ball club. He also right now looks like he will be one of the players coming off the bench, outfielder. The .235 average. That's going to be a base hit up center field. Adam Jones over to get it. And again, The ball's staying up for him, saying hit me.
That's really what it's all about. Fastball location. That's what eluded him in the first start of spring training. And here, home run and a nice clean base hit on elevated fastball. Just gives the hitter a good chance to see the ball. The velocity isn't quite there yet. Fastball at 90 miles an hour. So if you don't execute a fastball, they're going to get on it.
Dave Wallace, pitching coach, you saw. Taking a look is Travis Shaw, who's getting the start at third base in this ball game, will stand in. Infield, shifted around, puts the bunt down and fouls it off. Boy, a pretty good chance right there with nobody in the third base position. Manny Machado's playing over at the shortstop hole.
Well, you wonder what year is it going to be where major league hitters start to adjust to shifts and force the defense to swing back around. Every spring you see guys lay down bunts, but every season they just go right back to themselves and start pulling the ball. So we'll see how it works out this year. I know the Orioles have talked about on shifts. Execute the bunt, get guys on base. It is a key to longer innings and getting that starting pitcher and get that pitch count up.
Especially early on. I mean, if you can get a big inning early in a ball game, every club wants to do that. You try and chase the starter early. You try and give yourself momentum. In a situation like this where if you can get that bunt down to third, you got a base hit. Not that time.
No, not
pitch
that
up
time.
and in.
Yeah, I think a lot of times hitters, especially a hitter like Travis Shaw, you see the 13 home runs, probably never got asked to bunt too much coming up through the minor leagues. There's a huge opportunity there, and I think a hitter's eyes get too big and they force it, and instead of just getting it down in that direction. They don't have to be too fine with that bunt.
Runner on at first base. Shift stays on here. Runner not going. Shaw will foul that one back and out of play. And Gonzalez will get himself ahead here on the count. Big crowd on hand for the ball game. Is a sellout for this game against the Red Sox. Red Sox obviously draw very well, as the Orioles have done here at Ed Smith Stadium. This beautiful ballpark that was voted the best facility in the minors, spring training wise. Pitch on the way, and that will just miss on the outside corner. Did not go around as they check down at third base.
That's a good fastball right there, just missing that outside edge. And Miguel Gonzalez has the ability to move that fastball, so tailing away from the left-handed hitter. Shaw, too close to take for my liking, but he gets the call from Chad Fairchild.
Lead at first base for Young, not going. Ball popped up in the air. Manny Machado, wind blowing a bit out towards that left field corner right now. Machado will put it away. And that'll be the second out here in the first inning. The Orioles Gold Glover at third base yet one more time. He'll help this pitching staff out again this year, as he always does.
Boy, he looks good. This whole infield is right on time right now. It's amazing to see them go through their work. Bobby Dickerson has an amazing set of drills for them, and they have bought in wholeheartedly. J.J. Hardy has been running around like he's 18 years old. It's been so much fun to watch.
So much fun for him because he feels good.
Yeah, exactly.
Pitch is taken by David Murphy. There he is. If he can stay healthy, Scope could have a breakout season this year. With Manny Machado over there on that side and Chris Davis at first, you've got some pretty solid defensive players in that infield. Fastball. That will catch the outside corner for a strike. And it certainly looks like Chris Davis will be spending most of his time at first base in light of the unannounced yet due to a physical needed for Alvarez. Pedro Alvarez will be coming in. Will probably be the DH. Trumbo's in right field today, and we'll talk about that, but certainly looks like that's where they're going to be. Down the line again with the shift on. If that's fair, it's a big hit, but it wasn't. Foul ball.
Now, Chris Davis, possibly one of the most underrated first basemen in the game. This guy is an exceptional athlete, and he could play really anywhere on the field.
Yep.
And he would be an average or above average type player. Came up as a third baseman, moved over to first, then started getting some work in the outfield. He's done everything for the Orioles, but when he plays first base, this team is much better.
Breaking ball. That one's going to miss a little low. Gonzalez off on some of these pitches, but not by much, and that's kind of what you'd see as the norm here for the starters, especially in spring training. You're trying to fine-tune it a little bit, work pitches that you're working on, and hopefully the control is there. Runner off first base. That one again punched Little squibber down the third base side. Foul ball for David Murphy.
Well, he's throwing a couple real nice split fingers here to Murphy. Nice drop at the end, right on the plate. 83 miles an hour. And really, that's his bread and butter pitch. Big time swing and miss pitch for him. Tumbling down in and just dive bombing. Nice piece of hitting to keep the at-bat alive. Good pitch there from Miguel.
Oh, the count hangs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Scope way back in right field, the Orioles' second baseman. And he'll go the other way again. Murphy's just getting the bat around on a couple of these that are well located on the outside part of the plate. Gonzalez teasing him with pitches that are too close to take but tough to hit.
Yeah, well, really, Miguel, when he is on, and we have seen him be one of the better right-handed pitchers in the game at times, really dominating the American League East, and I think that's why, you know, the Orioles like him so much. Great success, but when he is on, he has the ability to move that fastball in and out, and this would be a great time to stick the fastball in there. But
he does, right into the shift, though. Force play at second base. Machado goes there to Hardy, who was covering, and we'll take a look at the Orioles lineup. Spring training coming your way from Sarasota. The home run and a 1-0 lead for the Red Sox. The Orioles coming up will be facing a left-hander. Here's the starting lineup today. Nolan Reimold will be the DH. Machado, Davis, Jones, Trumbo, and Wieters. Hardy, Scope. Joey Recca gets the start in left field. Chris Davis. There are the career numbers for the Orioles signing in a new 7-year deal.
Yeah, take a look who the Orioles offense is facing. Ronis Elias. Hey, he's in the mix. Eduardo Rodriguez, who came over from the Orioles, is still on the disabled list with a bum knee. So Elias, he comes in looking to get that 5th spot. He has a funky presentation, which is always big at the major league level. Anytime you can deceive a hitter, you're going to have some success.
Down to first. That's a fair ball. It'll roll into foul territory. Mookie Betts over to get it, trying for 2. Reimold throw will be off the mark. Gets away. It'll be backed up, though, by the left fielder Murphy, and Reimold is kicking it off in a hurry. The DH has got a 2-bagger.
Nice start right here by Nolan Reimold. The Orioles offense really trying to ignite this team. A slow start here. First 7 games for the Orioles. Reimold right down the right field line. Nice piece staying on that fastball. A lot of times that is a key, especially for this Orioles offense. Stay within yourself. Give yourself opportunity to have a quality at bat. They're very sound mechanically. Put himself in scoring position.
Reimold battling for a spot on this team with the outfield position still somewhat in question. Here's Manny Machado. Manny in the number 2 spot at third base. Question about where Manny may in fact be in the lineup if Alvarez indeed passes the physical and comes to this ball club, whether Manny might be back at that leadoff spot again.
Yeah, well, you know, Manny was very comfortable there last year. One of the better eyes for a young hitter on this Orioles team. He has the ability to use the whole field. The power was a huge surprise last year. 35 homers. He's looking to build on that.
Manny had an outstanding season, the 86 RBIs. He ended up with 70 base on balls. He kept the on-base percentage up there as well. obviously the defensive gold glove play at third base. Reimold being held, the shortstop Marrero moving in behind him at second. Then he will put that one up in the air. Shortstop back. Marrero will play it, and Manny Machado is retired.
Take a look at the Red Sox defense here this afternoon. Murphy in left field, Bradley Jr. in center, Betts over in right, Marrero at short, Holt, no play combination with them, Shaw and Craig on the corners, and Vasquez doing the catching.
I'll bring up Chris Davis. During the course of the winter, I suspect there were a lot of Oriole fans and baseball fans overall who did not expect to see Chris Davis wearing an Orioles uniform coming into the 2016 season. The Orioles and Davis came to an agreement. The Orioles clearly wanted him back, and Davis wanted to be back. It certainly helped to make the deal. Pitch will be taken for a strike at the knees by Chris. And now he will be back in the middle of that lineup, which will be loaded with home run power and at that first base position that we talked about.
Yeah, he's an intimidating presence in this Orioles lineup. More home runs than anyone over the last 4 seasons. Last year, probably would have gotten up over 50 again if he hadn't gotten about 5 taken away.
Yeah. At the end of the season, too, they all guys were robbing him left and right, literally. Chris, last year, obviously, you'll have the strikeouts with him, 280. Did draw 84 walks, though, in the course of the year. Reimold off second. Off-speed breaking ball that's going to miss down and in Chris Davis, and Chris up on the count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
And really, the walks and his home run production is why he's so scary. Even if pitchers want to try to avoid Davis and work around him, we've seen him hit home runs that are off the plate, out of the strike zone. He can expand when he has to.
Outfield shaded to right on him. That one will catch it at the knees. In there for a strike to Chris. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Beautiful day here in Sarasota. Temperature up near 80 degrees. That kind of weather forecast for the rest of the week. They've really have had magnificent weather for the first part of the spring training here in Florida. Look back, not a big lead at second base. And another off-speed breaking ball trying to get him to chase. Stay off that, and the count goes full 3-2.
Now, real nice take right there from Chris Davis. A lot of times you can tell with hitters if they're trying to do too much, maybe that front shoulder will leak. Tough breaking ball there from Elias. Comes from that 3/4 slot, and you have to fight to keep the front side locked in. Davis, a nice take there. Seeing the ball well.
Elias coming from that first base side, tough on the left-hander, and inside, and he draws the walk. So the Orioles get a couple on here in the first inning with only 1 away. First and second for Adam Jones. Adam, of course, will solidify the outfield. One thing the Orioles didn't know, they didn't know and still don't really, who's going to play beside him left and right, but they do know who's going to be in center.
Right. Well, Adam Jones, one of the most consistent players we've seen over the last 5 or 6 seasons. You can really write his numbers in there. He plays every day, and he plays hard every day. This is one of the best team leaders you're going to want to see. I mean, just watch how he plays the game, and his teammates follow suit.
There was an at-bat where Adam had decided, you could tell by that swing before he came to the plate, fastball, and I'm jumping.
Oh, yeah.
And he did.
Yeah, he stayed aggressive there. You know, spring training is an interesting time for hitters. They try to get that feel, and sometimes you have to kind of get outside of yourself to get back in and find out where you are. So let it fly occasionally, and then you back a ball up, see how far you can make it travel.
That one is going to miss inside to him. Adam last year, 261 off the lefties, 272 off the right-handers. If there's any number he might want to pick up a little bit on, that's probably it against left-handers. He'd like to hit a little higher. His career average is better against left-handers than what he had last year. Orioles, Reimold on at second base, Davis on at first. Infield double play depth here with 1 away. That one down the line. He hit that one off the inside part of the bat, and that'll be a foul ball in the souvenir.
Adam Jones gets pitched tough. Boy, they come hard in on him. He's got to chase him out, trying to open up that outside corner. And we have seen this for a number of years. They'll bust him hard in with the fastball, try to open up the outside corner with the hard slider. And, you know, we've seen Adam Jones at his best when he's able to lay off that. If you make a mistake with that slider, though, and it stays on the plate, it's going a long way.
Outfield, pretty much straight away here. They give him the left center field gap a bit. And another breaking ball. Good block made by Vasquez, and that'll hold the runners.
A pretty good block here. Hard slider biting down and in. Runners on base, and Vasquez really squares that ball up. Doesn't kick far away. Reimold, a good speed out there at second base. Wisely staying close.
Jones works the count even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wind occasionally is going to help right-handed hitters when it turns to left, but it's been both in and out so far. That one to second base. Holt. Marrero comes across. Play made at first. They turn the double play, and believe it or not, there's no challenge and there's no appeal, either on touching the bag or taking the runner out. Holy cow!
Hi, I'm
You see the excitement building. 2016 season just around the corner, and it's time to get on board. You can become an Orioles full or partial season plan member today. Join the exclusive orange carpet benefits. Huge savings over the cost of single game tickets. Postseason ticket priority and the most flexible exchange policy in Major League Baseball. Orioles opening day is coming up. For details, Orioles.com/season. Do it today. Orioles, of course, will be opening up at home this season. Twins coming in for opening day. Gonzalez goes back to work, and the pitch will be taken for a strike. The Orioles are also going to be the opponent for the Red Sox on their opening day at Fenway Park, as the Orioles go there after that first homestand from Camden Yards to Fenway. Breaking ball, going to miss a little bit inside. Alan Craig getting the start at first base for the Red Sox today. One of those big contracts. It hasn't worked.
Yeah, not yet. And I'm sure they're working feverishly to try to get Craig going again, because this guy has incredible power potential. A lot of good things with the Cardinals as a younger player, but hasn't been able to get it going here. And this Red Sox team, you know, they have a lot to prove this year after finishing in the cellar in the East. Now, granted, they finished the season strong. Let a lot of their younger players play the season out, and offensively they were one of the better teams in the game last couple months of the season.
Well, the Bradleys and the Betts, I mean, they're counting on them to really come around with big years as full-fledged stars at the major league level for John Farrell's ball club. Bradley will be out there in center field making the start this season, it looks like, and they'll be an interesting ball club, and obviously pitching-wise should be a little bit better. That one right up the middle. Craig is on with a leadoff single here in the second inning. And again, as is true in real estate, so it's true for pitchers.
Location. Well, exactly. And got a right idea with the slider. Just didn't finish there. Stayed on the plate and up enough for Craig to get the good part of the bat on it. Take it right back through the box.
Orioles have not won here in the spring. They've gone 0-7. Red Sox 3-3. Fans a little obviously concerned, and the Orioles would just as soon have a W up there or two as having the losses. But you really have to be careful about judging spring training games. Here is Jackie Bradley Jr. Pitch will be taken away for a ball. As Ralph Houck used to say when he was managing Major League Baseball, the major said, you know, spring training, how I judge it is I'd like to win half and lose half. That way we don't get too excited about what we're doing, but we know we've still got work to do.
Right.
That pretty much sums it up. Bradley, a good fastball. That one at 90 miles an hour and well located.
Yeah, I rode that one up through the top of the zone, and that is a key. Work the perimeter of the plate. The top of the strike zone is a great place to attack. Can't leave it down below that level, though. Gives the hitter too much of a chance to get on it. But when you're up above, just out of the strike zone, very enticing. Bradley chasing that one.
Bradley spent half and half with Major Leagues and Pawtucket at AAA last season. Ended up in 74 games with the Red Sox and hit .249. He's only 25 years old. And they figure time has come, and he's a very good defensive outfielder. Fastball is going to be away by Miguel. For the Orioles, when they've gotten good pitching, they haven't been able to score runs like the 3-0 loss yesterday. When they've had some hitting, they've given up a ton.
Yeah, they've had some big
10,
innings,
12,
sure.
13 runs have been given up, and that's been the problem, trying to fit the whole thing together so far. Gonzalez will put that one down low. Good eye again on some pretty close pitches. And with a runner on at first base, a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Bradley.
Yeah, I think the Orioles may have drawn the short straw, start spring training. A lot of games on the road, and I've already had a doubleheader and a night game.
Runner does go. Ball 4. Buck Showalter said he had to introduce himself yesterday to some of his own teams because he's been on the road for 4 days with the games away.
Yeah, and it's risky to bring your, he doesn't want to bring the frontline infield on the long bus rides and take a chance because they're only going to play a limited number of innings anyway. They get great work, so he's just not willing to take that chance early on in spring training.
Buck's going to join us here in the bottom half of this inning. We'll have a chance to ask him about where Alvarez fits in, if in fact the deal is completed. As all Oriole fans and baseball fans know, it's not done until it's done. Nobody out, runners on at first and second base. Shot off the glove. Scope bobbles. Runner was going back to first. Plenty of time there as they record the out. Bradley broke to second and then headed back to first base. So he was an easy force out. Alan Craig will move over to third base. Marrero's on, fielder's choice.
Hard hit ball here. Nice positioning by Scope, but it gets on him. Fortunately, the Orioles able to get that out at second base. Another elevated pitch there from Miguel. It gets hit hard.
Red Sox are jumping on those pitches that are staying up in the strike zone. Red Sox have the early 1-0 lead on the Holt home run in the first inning. Now first and third with one away. So Gonzalez looking for the ground ball here against Vasquez to try and find the final out. Red Sox catcher, one down. That will miss inside for a ball. Vasquez will be with this Red Sox ball club as one of their two catchers as soon as he's ready. He missed the season last year, and so they've got to give him some time to play some ball. Tommy John surgery, right elbow. Runner goes. Ground ball back. Runner not coming from third. No play there. And Jazz gets the out at first base. Vasquez retired as Marrero was running from first to second.
Well, pretty good play there by Miguel to keep his head. In a first and third situation, a little comeback. Our first thing in his mind is double play. He set the runner in motion. He obviously didn't hear anything, wasn't aware of it, but a quick glance over to third base, keep that runner in check. Pick the ball. Footwork's great as he spins around, picks up the runner at third, and gets the out.
That's where you need help. That's where Matt Wieters or whoever's doing the catching will be hollering.
Gotta be,
to let you know where the play is going to be. So a chance to get out of the inning. It is foul back. Mookie Betts, the leadoff batter, popped out to second base his first time up. Good producer of runs last year. He hit .333 with runners in scoring position last season. He's got Alan Craig at third and Marrero down at second base. So Betts at the top of the order with an RBI chance. That one grounded to short. Big hop. Real big hop. Hardy's got it. Makes the play over to Davis. And a good job. Gonzalez gets out of it. No runs on one hit, no errors. And 2 are left on base. Red Sox with the early 1-0 lead. Have the early lead. Buck Showalter, the skipper of the Orioles, is joining us from the dugout. Hi, Skip.
Hi, guys. We got Bordy up there?
Yeah,
we got Bordy up here.
This guy can do it all. If he brings the same energy level up there that he does on the field this morning, you're in good shape. We wore him out.
We'll wear him up out here, too. All right,
we're lucky to have him.
First question for you, Buck. If Pedro Alvarez deal comes through, speculation is Davis first, Trumbo in the outfield, and your DH is Pedro Alvarez.
We're going to let the process run through. I obviously know a little more than we're letting on, but, we're in that process and potentially adding someone. How's that? And you guys are usually pretty good about reading the tea leaves, so I would never let you be wrong if you care about being right, and I know you care about being right.
So Alvarez.
So I'm not saying anything.
That's great.
How about this one? So Alvarez, the left-handed hitter. You think you need another left-handed hitter in this lineup?
Well, we're in need of a left-hander. We're a little susceptible to right-handed hitters, but Toronto showed people good right-handed hitters hit good right-handed pitching. I mean, I'll take 9 right-handed hitters if they're good hitters, but it does, I think more than anything, it makes your lineup susceptible to the bullpen. It allows them to use one pitcher for multiple hitters instead of making them use a lot of guys, which wears them out sometime in a 3-game series and down the road. I just, we want to present a lineup not only towards the starting pitcher, but towards the bullpen.
We're looking at Mark Trumbo. What's your early impression?
Big old boy, huh?
Yes.
I tell you what, Mark has been a good addition. He plays with a lot of intensity. Our fans are going to like him. What do you need me to do today? And he really likes being here, and he's fit in a hurry, and he can put a charge on it. As hard as this wind's blowing in, of course, he's going to get something soft here down and in. But he can be a help for us.
Well, it's a pretty impressive lineup, Buck. In the last 4 years, I mean, really the Orioles offense hangs its hat on the power. Is there anything else that this team can do? They put some more runs across the plate.
Well, on one side you say we scored more runs than the year before, and our biggest challenge last year is probably the consistency of our starting pitching, but you're always looking for ways to improve. We have 5 or 6 things, a point of emphasis that we really want to attack in the spring, and that's one of them. You look at the game of baseball, guys are striking out at a higher rate in the history of the game. They're walking less, and the velocity is more than it's ever been since late 1800s. I think the average fastball last year was at an all-time high at 92.5. I think the bullpen's 93-something. So it's so easy to say let's be selective, but when something's moving that fast, you've got to understand what guys are trying to do to you. And the better you are, the more you present a challenge to them with the power. Let's face it, the guys that are walking a lot are the guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark, and that's something, for instance, Jonathan Scope knows he can't go through a season and walk 9 times. It's a team thing. We need to win the at-bat, and the at-bat's not always won by a base hit.
All right, Buck, we were talking about this before the game. You were going to try and figure it out because we haven't yet. The new rule on the plays at second base, sliding, the so-called Utley rule. If you are on the offensive side of it and you're challenging whether or not the base was actually touched by who shortstop, second baseman is covering, if you challenge that, is the review process going to look at the whole picture, not only what you're challenging, but also whether the runner interfered with the fielder?
No, it'll only be what they, once they go to the headset, the other team has to come out and say we were going to challenge the legality of the slide. And if we challenge whether or not someone touched a base, we're on the offense, and they don't want you to challenge the other, they can't look, they can't rule on something else that might have happened. The other team has to ask them to look at that during the process. In other words, they're not going to go to the review twice. After we get through with whether they touched it or not, then the other team comes out and says, please go again. We've got that. Because, one, it gives you too much time to review it, and the game gets delayed. So it's one-stop shopping. You better get it while they're going to the headset, otherwise you're not allowed.
Okay. Wow.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Right? It is.
We're going to have the swipe tag. I don't know if y'all seen that one yet. The guy strike three short, and the umpire says that the catcher tagged him on strike three, but he's not sure. Guy peels in the dugout. If they go to review, they're going to take him out of the dugout. Boy, Jake, they're going to... they're going to pull him out of the dugout and put him at first base. That's going to be a lot of fun.
But they're trying to speed up the game.
Well, we're telling our guys, if you're not sure, get your rear in the dugout so we can review it.
Wow.
Yeah.
J.J. Hardy coming through with a base hit here with two down and nobody on. Are you surprised that you've got both Wieters and Davis back in an Oriole uniform?
Surprised, no. I know one. There are two sides that really wanted to get it done, and that's the player side and the team side. And our ownership has been so supportive in all phases since the day I got here. And, it's an asset we have. We've eliminated those excuses, whether it be a spring training facility, whether it be, and it's always been that way. Everybody's so quick to point a finger, this and that, whatever. I mean, it's in our hands, and it's there for us. We just have to do some things better and close the difference. You guys know there's just such a fine gap. We had a 3-week span last year where we weren't engaged enough in winning baseball games, not intentionally, and it cost us. It's just a very small line, and this division is going to be competitive again.
Hey, Buck, Gary and I were talking about all the shifting. Is this going to be the year that we see more bunts with big men trying to, keep that defensive shift more honest?
Well, you know what happens? It's like, the defense is caught up to the wishbone years ago. They caught, the offense, they catch up to things that people are doing. Go ahead, John. I might review Derek on defensive. JJ made him alter his path. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is anybody going to argue that?
Not yet.
Wow, I might go to review on that one. Anyway, I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm thinking about Rickard here. It's Rickard, by the way, not Reichert.
Thank you.
And it's funny, guys you've had before you, and their first name was Troy. I had a Troy Rickard, and I swear it takes everything I do to keep from calling him Troy. It is joy, and he's been impressive. This is a baseball player here, guys.
Yeah.
Really good defender. This guy is an above-average defender. Runs the bases well. Popped last year. Had a big winter ball in Dominican. His power numbers came in. Walked 70, 80 times last year. We might have caught somebody starting to come in their own here. What was the question that we got off of?
A big guy's going to bunt.
I just think that the game corrects itself. Now, we'll see where our guys are concerned. Believe me, we hit them about it all the time, and about when it's appropriate and when it's not. And there's so many things that go on in spring training. Everybody says they got it, and all of a sudden the bells and whistles and big lights come on, and something changes. It's one thing to get it as a point of emphasis in the spring. It's something that I know that we'd like to be better at, but we also like the fact that Chris is capable of hitting 50 balls where the grass doesn't grow.
That ball's going to be in the left field. Rickard's got one. That'll bring Hardy to third. Hardy, Murphy makes the toss in. Hardy will get back to the bag.
I know it.
So the Orioles, 3 consecutive singles coming with 2 down, have loaded the bases here in the second inning. What do you like about him in the outfield, Buck?
Real calm. Real calm. You can tell that it comes easy to him. First step read. There's no harder time to play outfield than in spring training. You got a high sky. You got stands like that have poor background. I mean, you go to play the Red Sox, the thing's white back there. Nobody sees the ball off the bat. The depth perception's not there with the triple deck. So if you can play quality outfield in spring training, you can play it anywhere. I think he's going to be a plus defender at all three positions.
Rivaled up, had a leadoff double, was stranded in the first inning. Orioles load him up here with 2 down. Buck, I think I know the answer to this, but would you prefer to have somebody grab the left and right field spots, these corner positions again?
Oh, sure. So we don't. John Russell and I don't sit around for an hour every day trying to figure where it's going. But we're going to put our guys in the best spot to be successful, and we're going to try to keep everybody in the mix. We've got some good options. It looks like Nolan's healthy, and we know what he can do when he's out on the field. And I like our depth. I like what we have to pick from, and I like the fact that we might be making an addition here in the next few days. How's that?
Good.
I was working Bordy out there in the left field. He could lead off.
Well, we're taking a look at some of the corner options. Ariel Alvarez, LJ Hoses look good this spring.
LJ's a baseball player. Yep. LJ, you're looking for people you can trust, and those are the type of people that kind of put you in a good spot.
Buck, we really appreciate it. Thanks. We're glad we had an extended inning.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Thanks, Buck.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Buck Showalter joining us here in the second inning. Well, as he says, they'd love to have somebody nail down a spot in the outfield. Trumbo's going to be in right if the Alvarez deal comes through. I think that's fair to say. And that leaves left field open. And you got 3-4 players after.
You heard how excited he was about Joey Rickard.
Yeah.
I mean, really, this kid has a lot of poise in the outfield. He is unflappable out there, and saw a nice at bat that he had. He's kind of a slasher, but big numbers in the minor leagues offensively. He was the top prospect, for the Rays. I think this is a good opportunity for the Orioles to take advantage of another Rule 5 pick.
Yeah. Orioles loading him up here. Elias trying to get out of the inning with the infield back with 2 down. And Trumbo and Wieters recorded outs. Vasquez is going to come out, have a discussion here on what they want to throw with Nolan Reimold dangerous. With the power that he's got. Outfield will shade him a bit to right. John Russell on the left, the bench coach for the Orioles. Those two in that position a lot during the season, exchanging ideas on what's going on in a ball game at any given moment. 2-2 delivery on the way. Good pitch. But a good battle by Nolan Reimold to fight that one off.
Well, he has a great batter's eye. He knows his strike zone. And really, that's why he had so much value to this team. There are a lot of guys that, give away at bats. Nolan always works an at bat. It's the pitch that he can handle. Really, that's the key. You don't want to go up there just hacking. Have a plan, like Buck said. Make the most of it. And his first at bat swung at the first pitch and going to double down the line. So he knows what he wants up there.
61 games with the Orioles last year for Nolan. Again, Vasquez in to take it away. That 247 number with the 23 walks, 47 strikeouts, and the 394 slugging percentage, and the 344 on base. And he does make pitchers work. Of all the Orioles played last season, he may have extended the pitchers as much as anybody in the lineup. Hardy off third base. Jonathan Scope at second. Rickard at first. There are 2 away. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Runners will go. And a swing and a miss. And a beautiful breaking ball. Elias gets his second strikeout. And the Orioles will leave the bases loaded. some new Birdland memories by hosting your next group outing at Oriole Park. Discounted ticket prices for groups as small as 15. Party facilities to fit up to 1,000. Oriole Park, great place to have a great baseball experience. Group leaders can earn a variety of incentives, including the opportunity to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. You can learn more, Orioles.com/groups, or you can call 888-848-BIRD. Barry Thorne, Mike Bordick with you. Great to have you on board. Back at it for the 2016 season for the Orioles. We're in this beautiful facility here where ball clubs just come and go. Ooh, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, Buck and the Baltimore Orioles, Mr. Angelos have really given this place a tremendous facelift. A lot of teams have been here in Sarasota. I think the Orioles really fixed it up to make it their own. It's an incredible place.
7th season for the Orioles in Sarasota. 6th here in the renovated stadium, which has won awards for its looks and playability. Holt at the plate. Home run, first time up. And Holt will take that one for a strike. A run on 3 hits for the Red Sox. No runs and 4 hits for the Orioles. Gonzalez working in his second inning, so this will be his final inning of the ball game. He just wants to make it a complete. That'll go down to first, and that one will be foul. Orioles will have Oliver Drake, Chris Lee, probably Darren O'Day, and others scheduled to pitch in the ball game today, with the starters at this point trying to get through 2 innings generally, unless they have not had a start, and then you're back to the 1-inning performance. Young and Shaw scheduled to follow here, and that one is there. He gets a first strikeout for Gonzalez.
That is a good finishing fastball right there. Holt obviously looking for something else. Miguel put away pitch. Typically that split finger, but he dots a fastball right at the knees, 90 miles an hour. Hold a little bit in between. That's all it takes. Second guess, strike 3.
Miguel a chance to get in 3 here with that start. Here is Chris Young. Young had a single his first time up. Orioles will put the shift on, letting him to pull. A real good breaking ball tied him up, and in there for a strike off the inside corner. For the Red Sox, they've got to improve against the Eastern Division. They were 35-41 against the East last year. That cost them. Ball off the fist, popped up. Wieters. He's back. 2 down.
Nice play there by Matt Wieters. Bouncing out of that crouch position like a cat. That's having himself a good spring. So
he's already played back-to-back games.
Yeah, already played back-to-back. That was a big deal last season. Throwing the ball very well.
So that will do it, as Gonzalez, who only had an inning and a third in the last and first outing, going to be pulled here with a real good performance as he works 2 2/3 innings, and Andy Oliver's on his way in. Well, good start for Gonzalez, who comes out of there. Red Sox have the 1-0 lead. Did give up a home run to pitch well. Here's Oliver.
Yeah, take a look at Andy Oliver's numbers here. 2011 with Detroit. A couple starts, so a cup of coffee in the major leagues. Last year spent time at Durham AAA and then came over to the Orioles, played in Norfolk for Ron Johnson, and picked up 3 wins, 1 loss, 3.72, so an opportunity for him to get a look.
Oliver works here with a shift on against the lefty. Travis Shaw standing in. Shaw popped out his first time up. For Oliver, Drake, this is going to be the 5th appearance already that he has had, 4th appearance that he's had this season. Pitch is taken away for a ball. Brian Mattis having a couple of physical problems, although it doesn't look like he'll be out for a long time, but is out for a couple of weeks here in this spring training. Another left-hander. Oliver will get maybe a little longer look. That one is in there for a strike.
Yeah, the Orioles like another left-handed arm in the bullpen. A lot of times matchup duty. Everybody kind of complements each other down there, and Buck Showalter's done an incredible job putting his bullpens together each year he's been here.
For the Orioles, obviously the bullpen has been one of their great strengths, and no reason to believe it won't be again this year.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Britton is one of the best closers in the game. O'Day is just a monster setup man in that sidearm angle. Brad Brock has really come into his own. Brian Mattis, we know what he can do. Bundy's got to make the team, so he will be in the big leagues. He's throwing the ball well this year. But even the names that you saw down below that, they're not guaranteed, but they're arms that have been in the major leagues, have had experience. Chaz Rowe did a great job for the Orioles. You know what McFarland can do, a very versatile pitcher. So there are a lot of weapons down there, and even if some of these arms don't make the big leagues, the depth is the key.
And up the middle for a base hit off the top of the mound. So Shaw will pick up the 4th hit of the ball game for the Red Sox, and they'll get a base runner on. They had 2 on in the first, a couple on in the second. Now with 2 away, get a base runner here in the 3rd as well. And that will bring up David Murphy. Murphy, their left fielder, hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Oliver with a team again, infield shift, runner goes, Wieters up, here's the throw, it's there, and they got him. Travis Shaw is retired, good throw. And Wieters put that one right on the money. No chance. And a relatively tough pitch to handle. He had to come down and get it with the glove back in.
Yeah, great play.
For small business.
Only run coming on the Brock Holt home run in the first inning for the Red Sox. Pitching changes will continue. There's Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson, a cup of coffee in the major leagues, a big earned run average, but a lot of success in the minors, so he certainly has an outside shot for the Red Sox, and they're looking for him to, I'm not going to say overachieve, but maybe step up just a little bit to be better at the major league level. Every team needs depth. Ryan Johnson's one of those arms that I see during the season if somebody goes down.
Came up last year, one game. It was the Major League debut for him against Houston in July. Got shut down towards the end of the season. The left elbow problems. And now back again. And behind the plate, Butler's going to do the catching. A non-roster invitee, Dan Butler, will come on to catch for Vasquez. And a shot down the line and right. Manny Machado popped out his first time up. Machado, Davis, and Jones will do up here for the Orioles. The Orioles came into this game hitting as a club just .208. Orioles here this spring have been outscored 63-29. We talked about that high ERA that's 7.7 coming in for the Orioles pitchers. That ball fouled away. Well, the wins and losses obviously aren't going to matter when opening day comes around. It just makes you feel better if you kind of get things in order.
Well, it sure does. But I'll tell you what, this team is very confident. They believe in themselves, and you watch them go through their work every day, and you know it's a confident group.
That should be a base hit. It'll fall in. And Manny Machado is on with a leadoff single.
A nice approach right here. Manny Machado keeps the bat head through the zone. Nice flat bat. And he has power the other way as well. You see him pull the hands inside. Almost intentionally, that hole at bat looked like he was trying to work the ball to right field. And he does have that ability. Sensational player, superstar.
Chris Davis, shift put on against him. Drew a walk his first time up. Chris has one of the 5 spring training home runs that the Orioles have this season. Johnson's pitch to him is in there for a strike. Elias, the starter, couple of innings, 4 hits, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts for the Red Sox. Manny Machado held by Craig at first base. And that one down and in. Good pitch.
Chris Davis doesn't get cheated. He lets it fly. Occasionally, bat head might dip a little bit. But when he's on, much like Manny, the ability to use the whole field and drive the ball with power the other way, and it can give pitchers fits. They just don't know what to flip up there when he is locked in.
Butler, the catcher, asking for the timeout. Two-strike count. Put one in. Foul back. Pretty good pitch. Mark Quinn.
Yeah.
He's going to be working with the hitters.
Yeah, assistant hitting coach to help Scott Coolbaugh along. He big league time with Kansas City Royals, and big power guy. He knows how to swing it. And he probably still wants to get in that box and swing it. Unfortunately, his career was hindered by some injuries, but he knows the game and he knows how to hit.
That one is taken, or he called strike 3. Kept the ball down. So Johnson gets the strikeout. One away, leaving Machado on at first base.
Johnson flipped in a couple breaking balls to Davis, and I think Davis in the back of his mind thought he might try to expand a little bit with the breaking ball, get it on that outside edge, and takes a fastball. He walks away shaking his head.
The one away, and Adam Jones, who hit into a double play his first time up, stands in. Orioles offense last year, they were 7th in runs and 10th in average. Orioles again using the long ball as they have in the Showalter years. They were 3rd. Home runs, 217 on the year, and they've added, if Alvarez indeed is added, yet another home run hitter to the lineup.
Yeah, well, one of the points that Buck Showalter really has stressed, I think, every year coming into spring training. All right, we're going to score a lot of runs. We're going to hit home runs, but let's increase our opportunities, and that'll raise that number even higher. Believe it or not, the Orioles, for as many home runs and runs they scored, they were at the bottom for opportunities to drive in runs. So they're not getting many guys on base and taking advantage of those chances. But when this team does, they produce. It's just getting guys on base, finding ways to grind out at bats, have a purpose every inning, and understanding the situation. Sometimes even the 4-hole hitter has to be a leadoff guy.
Adam will swing through a heater that was upstairs at 88 miles an hour. Well, the Orioles were 12th in on-base percentage and 13th in walks. Those numbers kind of go together. So that's the numbers Mike's talking about, where you improve that, get somebody on so the home runs count for 2 or 3. And obviously it makes a lot of difference in a ball game. That one the other way will go foul.
Yeah, and it's a tricky situation for Buck Showalter and hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh. One thing you do not want to do is take aggressiveness away from this team. If they're up there feeling for it, they're going to be in between, and you're not going to get any results. They want to stay aggressive on balls that are in their zone, and they work until the sun goes down on trying to figure that strike zone out, understanding what pitchers are trying to do to them.
That one, an inside out, could fall in. It will be handled. Not an easy play as Holt got it. Throw in to try and double up. Gets away, but it's backed up by Butler. Real nice play. The wind blowing didn't help the cause here.
I'm telling you, the wind in spring training is ridiculous. It is a challenge for everybody. Even the best defenders have to have, the highest level of focus and concentration. You better check the elements when you step on the field. Nice play by Holt, but something I'm more impressed with, and I guarantee you Buck Showalter paid attention to that. The catcher backing up, perfect position.
Yep.
That is the detail of a game that managers love.
Save yourself a worse situation, putting a runner down at second base on an overthrow. A little lob toss by Johnson over. So Mike Trumbo stands in, called out on strikes his first time up. Oriole fans obviously excited about, we were talking about the power bats that are in the lineup. Here is another one that has been added in Trumbo, and he's drawn some oohs and ahs from his teammates here in spring training. He is one of those guys who in batting practice can really launch some shots. I mean, he hits those rainbow home runs here in spring training.
Yeah.
Even Adam Jones, who,
it's amazing.
is amazed by it. Yeah.
He's out driving guys by 40 yards. I mean, it's quite a show.
Pitch will be taken. Shift is not put on against him, indicating that the charts on him show, at least on the ground, he may put that ball the other way once in a while. I mean, they're moved over a little bit, but Holt's not all the way over on the shortstop side of second base.
Well, they should move back just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
If he keeps it low, it's dangerous.
Came in a little bit on the hands, foul back. That one he wanted. Talks to himself after the swing. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Trumbo.
Trumbo had some really good years with the Angels. He had a couple seasons back-to-back where he flipped out over 30 home runs and kind of cooled down a little bit the last couple seasons. Was with Seattle. Very tough ballpark to hit in if you want home runs. Considered one of the bigger parks in the game. So Orioles certainly hoping he can get back up to that 30 number in Camden Yards.
Just a 72-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch right there that was taken up high. Tantalizing, but not a strike. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count from Johnson to Trumbo. At first base, Manny Machado, leadoff single. That one hit hard. Got that one on the button. Base hit center field. Turn will be made. Bradley will get it back into third base and hold Machado at second. So the Orioles again threatening. Leadoff double in the first inning, 3 singles in the second, now 2 singles here.
Yeah, great 2-strike approach. Front foot gets down. You see the hesitation on the backside. He keeps the hands back, fooled for a split second by the breaking ball, but stays on it. Nothing collapses in his body, drops the bat head on it, and that's a bullet single up the middle.
Let's see if the Orioles can convert here in a 1-0 ball game with Boston on top. 2 on, 2 out, Matt Wieters. Wieters grounded out his first time up. Matt, another hoping for a season in which he is healthy throughout. Left-hander's pitch to him, taken for a strike. Matt last season, 265 when he hit right-handed. Wieters only had 8 home runs last year, and only 3 of those came from this side of the plate. He hit almost exact same average, 268 from the other side last year. One delivery to him, fastball, misses up high. Or off speed pitch, rather, 77, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Matt's always been considered. You see Caleb Joseph over there putting the fingers down. working with Gallardo, newest member of rotation. Getting on the same page. That's encouraging to see. But Matt Wieters, his best, I think, approach, obviously, is right-handed at the plate. His bat path on the right side is pretty direct to the baseball. I think throughout his career, he's been considered a better right-handed hitter, but has much more power from the left side. And last season, he got off to a good start left-handed, but unfortunately, the elbow problems.
Good turnover pitch right there at 72. Boy, Johnson's showing some real good off-speed stuff here from a left-hander.
Yeah, this breaking ball is backing up. It gets in front of the plate and just stops. I think Matt saw that well enough, but just didn't realize how long he had to wait.
The Wieters with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Manny Machado, pretty good lead at second. Trumbo off first, and that is right there. So a call, strike 3. Johnson picks up a couple of strikeouts. The Orioles again get them on, can't get them in. No runs, couple of hits, and 2 left on. Good to have you with us. Not too far from Siesta Key Beach. Here at the Orioles spring training home at Ed Smith Stadium. Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick, and Darren O'Day.
Yeah, take a look at Darren O'Day's numbers. Boy, very similar to what he's done since he's been an Oriole. Outstanding. 6 wins, 1.52 earned run average, 65 1/3 innings of work. Take a look at the strikeout to walk comparison. 82 Ks, 14 walks for Darren O'Day. This guy is legit. Just think a nice contract with the Orioles, and the Orioles so happy to have him here. This is the guy, type of guy you want in a bullpen. Great veteran, great makeup, just all about character, and obviously a quality big leaguer.
Be his second outing. He worked against Tampa Bay for an inning, had a strikeout, did not allow anybody to reach base. So O'Day goes to work here, and he'll go against David Murphy. Murphy in into a fielder's choice. His first time up, and we'll take the first pitch on the outside corner. Miguel Gonzalez joining us. A good outing here against the Red Sox. Miguel, the difference, first of all, thanks for joining us. The difference between the first outing and today's outing.
Command.
Yeah.
Kept the ball down, worked the hitters. I was a little bit more aggressive this time out. Been working at it. That was the difference.
So it seemed like, Miguel, you made an in-game adjustment. There were a couple fastballs that were elevated in the first inning, and something happened. You kept everything down. You were dotting your fastball, even your off-speed pitches. You were money. It looked really good.
Yeah. As the game was going on, second inning, third inning, felt better with my off-speed. Everything was working today. It was down. First inning, after the first inning, I was fine. Settled down a little bit.
Miguel, any particular pitch you're working on this spring, something you're trying to emphasize maybe or not?
No, staying the same, staying aggressive, trying to do what I've been doing the last couple of years. Nothing special.
Okay. Hey, good outing. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Keep it going.
Appreciate it.
Here's Alan Craig, runner on at first base. He picked up a single his first time up. 6 hits now for the Orioles and 5 for the Red Sox. But the Holt home run in the first inning is the only run of the ball game. O'Day will back off. Craig's got a big hole over on that right side with Jonathan Scope, second baseman, swung around towards the almost behind second base. Not a big lead though for Murphy, not a runner. And the pitch will be in there for a strike. Buck Showalter was talking again. You take somebody like O'Day who gives you that different look with that sidearm delivery, whether or not Buck believes because you play so many games against teams like the Red Sox and Tampa Bay during the spring. He was asked, do you worry about opposing teams getting to see your pitchers too much too often here in the spring? He said, no, not particularly. He said, I don't buy into that it makes a lot of difference. He said, if I've got somebody like an O'Day who's pitching well and he's throwing what he throws well, it's not going to matter on that given day whether somebody saw him in spring training or not. So he said, I'm not particularly concerned about that. When it gets towards the end of spring training, if we're going to be playing that team, say the Red Sox, soon, then maybe I think about that.
Right. Yeah. Darren O'Day, very unique, but when he is on, it just doesn't matter. I mean, he can carve anybody up. He can locate all of his pitches. Of course, the fastball from the side, most guys expect the sinker, so they try to elevate him. When he feels like they're looking up, he'll shoot his rising fastball to the top of the strike zone. I mean, great command of all of his offerings, and like I said before, Orioles very lucky to have him, and it really doesn't matter how many times you see a guy like him.
Still got to hit it.
Yeah. I mean, he gives guys fits.
3-ball, 2-strike count. He'll almost be an assistant coach in the bullpen, too, this year with his experience with the likes of Dylan Bundy. Because Bundy's going to have to work out of the bullpen if indeed he's with the club, which he almost certainly will be. And that's not a role that he's played a lot of in his career. He's just being a starter. He hasn't had any experience at the major league level, really. So it'll be interesting to learn that spot. That'll be inside. O'Day will issue the walk. Second walk the Red Sox have picked up in the ballgame. All kids 14 and under can join the Junior Orioles Dugout Club. They have a whole new lineup of excitement. The membership options include your choice of 2 6-game packages, the exclusive benefits like game tickets, the club hat, sunglasses, messenger bag, and more. And as always, friends and family get to purchase discount tickets for as little as $6. Lower level seating also available. So get to it. Orioles.com/dugout club or 888-848-BIRD. 2 on, nobody out. Manny Machado will play in a bit at third base. Jackie Bradley Jr. with outstanding speed. He'll put that one up in the air to left. Wind will blow it over towards the line. And Rickard will have no play on that for a strike.
Well, Darren O'Day, the one, I guess, question mark was how is he going to respond to lefties? Throughout his career, he'd had problems with that. And he made some adjustments. And he's become dominant against both lefties and righties because he really doesn't have anything that power sink or get in under the hands of a lefty. Everything kind of stays away. But just that look, I think, is just so different that lefties are having a hard time with him as well. And I think Darren's one of the type of pitchers that he doesn't care if he strikes you out. Hey, put it in play and let Manny Machado or J.J. Hardy make some plays behind him.
Well, the lefties hit only 210 off him last year.
Yeah.
Virtually no difference to the 192 that the right-handers had against him. 1 ball, 1 strikeout, runners off first and second base. That is going to be in there for a strike. Jackie Bradley Jr. drew a walk his first time up. O'Day gets the 1-2 count on him. And the Orioles infield can back up, not have to worry about Bradley trying to bunt himself on with the base hit, which they were concerned with before that second strike. 1-2. Outfield deep and right, in a little bit, left and center. Day's delivery will come inside to him. 2-2. Red Sox have seen a lot of pitches today, and we'll expect to see that during the year again. They are, like the Yankees, a club that takes a lot of pitches. Don Farrell's ball club has got some patience. It's been part of their offensive infrastructure for a number of years. 2-2. Full count.
Good piece of hitting right there by Bradley to lay off that high fastball. Very enticing, though.
3-ball, 2-strike count. Murphy off second base. Alan Craig off first. Nobody out here. Hardy will hold the runner close at second. And the full count delivery to him, nubbed off the end of the bat, foul.
That's the confidence. I mean, really what separates Darren O'Day. Now, we have seen him get out of incredible jams. Bases loaded. He's just ice in his veins when he's on the hill. 3-2 count right there. Whips in a slider. Gets Bradley out in front. Either a weak ground ball or strikeout.
3-2. And way inside. So O'Day issues his second walk, 2 in a row here in the inning after the single. So the Red Sox have loaded him up with nobody out. Well, the Red Sox have had base runners on every inning. They've stranded only 3. Double play helped the Orioles out in earlier in the ball game. Fielder's choice. Wieters with a caught stealing at second. So the Orioles have been able to get big plays. And the Red Sox have threatened. O'Day's really going to be challenged here. Infield will play back for the ground ball double play here in the 4th inning of the 1-0 Red Sox lead. Merrill will go after it and foul it back.
Well, they need to come up with a big play here. Nice, possibly get a ground ball, but I know Darren O'Day now getting this first strike. I want to get that strike out, and then maybe end the inning with a double play ball.
Devin Marrero last season, first major league action, 25 games with the Red Sox. Ended up with a .226 number. Spent most of last year and most of the year before at AAA Pawtucket. Wieters with a look down to third on a pitch that misses outside. And O'Day's got a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The wind continues blowing in left field towards second base. Hardy. And they turn the double play. So Murphy will score. But they get the big double play. Scope to Hardy to Davis. Putting a runner at third, but 2 down. Red Sox now have a 2-0 lead.
Darren O'Day, the Orioles happy to trade those 2 outs for giving up the 1 run. Get out of this inning and hope this Orioles offense can start putting some things together. Put some runs up on the board.
Big ground ball double play right there. Now runner at third base with 2 down. Couple of runs in, no RBI off the double play. And Butler will be on his first at bat, doing the catching, coming in for Vasquez. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Butler is a non-roster invitee for the Red Sox. Catchers get a pretty good workout during spring training. Clubs don't like to have those guys who are going to be doing a lot of catching during the year wearing their bodies out early on in the spring. So the catchers tend to travel a lot.
Yeah, a lot of catchers come into everybody's camp, save those knees. When you're a younger player, that's just something you have to go through. Get out in the bullpen and catch, 5-6 bullpens a day.
Day's delivery outside. Wieters on the backhand to hold it off. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Day's having to throw a few more pitchers here this inning than he would have liked. 29-year-old minor league veteran Butler, ground ball off the fist, will end up going foul. Butler's been around since 2009, but at the major league level he has played in only 7 games, and all of those came in the 2014 season. playing with the Red Sox. 1-2. Craig takes the lead at third. Chopper down to third. Short hopped. Manny Machado makes the play in the big scoop. Made that one look easy, and it wasn't. A run in, only one hit, one left on base in the defense. Manny Machado saves a potential third. Follow the latest Oriole news throughout the season. You can connect to the team's official social media pages at Orioles.com/connect. You can get insider access on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more, and connect with your favorite players, and even the Oriole Birds new official Twitter account. And sign up for the O's Bird's Nest and earn special rewards. For team news and content, go to Orioles.com/connect. Now, see, finally, Twitter makes sense to me.
It does?
The Oriole Bird.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Twitter,
yeah.
right?
All right, yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
First time ever. All right, the 2-0 lead for the Red Sox as Orioles try and get back against Johnson is going to stay on for a second inning here. Hardy had a base hit his first time up. Orioles also have had runners on. They've stranded 6. 4 of those have been in scoring position. And that is in there for a strike. J.J. Hardy trying to get it going against the left-hander. And Hardy will take the pitch away for a ball. J.J. bothered by injuries throughout last season. He had a labrum tear in the non-throwing shoulder. It wasn't talked about until after the season was over. But he said it affected him at the plate. His words were, "I tried to protect it. Protect that shoulder by not allowing myself the full, complete swing." And clearly, that's tough.
Yeah, and we could almost tell at times that he was protecting. Well, we're not seeing that at all this spring training. He is letting it fly. Yeah, like I said, he is running around different type of energy in J.J. Hardy. And he's letting it fly with the bat as well. We're going to see the power numbers get back up there. And, of course, everything hinging on the health factor.
Yep. Power numbers, home run numbers way down last year because of that. That ball in the air to center field. Speaking of which, he'll turn around. Bradley trying to get there at the wall, and that'll bounce off the scoreboard. Hardy's got a chance for 3. Hear what I just said? J.J. Hardy, a chance for 3. He's got a triple! The speedster has done it again.
Just filling columns there, Gary. Get the triple out of the way. Yeah, he clubbed that ball. J.J. Hardy driving the ball deep center field. Think about most of his power, kind of true left field, straight away left field, but he hammers that ball.
And Bradley actually thought he had a chance of catching that. May have lost sight of it when he got out there in the shadows. I mean, the ball was really tagged and it went off the scoreboard, but he kept turning around, looking back, thinking, how come I didn't get that? So Jonathan Scope will get the RBI opportunity. A leadoff triple for Hardy. Scope down to third. It'll hold the runner. Shaw will make the play over to first base. 1 out.
Now, Jonathan Scope, still a young player, and obviously every day will learn and get better and better. Maybe a little too anxious there. First pitch. Pitcher wants the guy to hit a ground ball to third base. That is easy out with a runner at third, nobody on. And that's his goal. Johnson executed the pitch, and Scopey fell into the trap there.
So Joey Rickard will get the opportunity with the runner at third and 1 down. Rickard to single his first time up. Good stop made. Butler that time knocks it away. Orioles had 3 on with 2 down in the second inning. Could not get a run in. They didn't get the runners on until they were 2 away. Now they get that leadoff man on. They've had the leadoff man on in 3 of the 4 innings in this spring training ball game. Johnson with a 1-0. And that is in there for a strike.
Well, if the Orioles can keep getting runners on, good things will definitely happen eventually. And, you know, Buck Showalter, the coaching staff, Dan Duquette, you target the things you want to get better at, you know, and this team really is their hat on their defense, their power, and I think their bullpen. All 3 of those aspects have been consistent in the last 4 winning seasons. Well, Buck is such a detail-oriented guy. Well, how can you make the team better? What are you going to do? Yeah, okay, get on base, draw more walks. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to have ultimate focus. You have to make every at-bat be as important as the last at-bat of your life. You know, grind them out and try to get on base and understand the importance of runs. Well, one thing that Buck Showalter is really stressing this spring is base running. This isn't a fast team, but they're a station team, and they don't have to be. They can get better secondary leads, which they've been working on this spring.
That one towards second base and a big hop. Holt's going to play it a run in. Hardy scores from third, RBI for Rickard, and the Orioles are on the board, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that Buck Showalter likes. Joey Rickard just battling through an at-bat and putting the run across the plate. That's what you do. Infield's back. It's an easy RBI opportunity. Rickard taking advantage of that one.
What you're talking about, Mike, with especially the first to third situation to try and make that difference in a ball game, the base running, it can really change the outcome of an inning in a game if you can do that. Ground ball will go to third base this time off the bat of Reimold, and Reimold is retired. Shaw makes it. The Orioles get a run. Do it on 1 hit. The leadoff triple by Hardy. Nobody left on. Red Sox 2. Orioles 1. Red Sox have the 2-1 lead in the ball game. The Orioles get on the board. O'Day out of there an inning. 1 run, 1 hit. A couple of walks and no strikeouts. And here's Chris Lee.
I'll take a look at Chris Lee, left-handed pitcher. Any major league experience, but they love his arm. Went through the minor leagues last year. Actually started his career with the Twins. Came over to Frederick and then Bowie last season. Picked up 4 wins with a 4.91. No, that wasn't it. Oh, 3.08 earned run average. That's what he had last season. They really like his arm. And he's got a good opportunity here. Another, we talk about it every year. How many moves do the Orioles actually make? Every one of these guys has an opportunity to make it to the big leagues if, Buck trusts you and you work hard.
And his first pitch will be taken down the line in left field. Mookie Betts makes the turn and heads into second base with a leadoff double here in the 5th. 1 for 3 in the ball game for Betts, and he was ready to jump on one that was up in the zone and did.
Well, I think in spring training, a lot of times you can kind of count on that fastball from guys coming out of the bullpen, and especially a younger guy. He just wants to get in the flow of game. How about a first pitch strike? And Betts is waiting on that one.
So the Red Sox trying to get that run back and more. Brock Holt had the home run in the 1st inning and struck out. Holt will stand in as the Red Sox again able to get runners on base. 6 hits for Boston in the ball game. The Orioles have actually out hit them 7-6 in the game, but trailing this one 2-1. Hardy right behind the runner at second base. And that's in there for a strike. Lee was in rookie ball with Houston 3 consecutive seasons, fine-tuning his pitching. And then when the Orioles were able to pick him up in May, he was assigned to Single-A Frederick, then Double-A to Bowie, starting pitcher. The big leap for him has been in the fastball. He's gone from someone who was around the mid to upper 80s a bit up to 91 to 96 miles an hour now, so he's really put some juice on the fastball. 2-ball, 1-strike delivery on the way, and that one at 94 is going to miss a little low. 3-1.
Well, there's a good look at it. 94-mile-an-hour heater just missing down in the zone. Holt walking something up that he can get a good look at. Very tough, left on left.
Runner off second base, not going. Ground ball towards second. Jonathan Scope up to hurry it over and does. It'll advance the runner, though. So Betts goes over to third, and Holt able to get a runner into scoring position. Quality at bat for him.
Yeah, it was. Work Lee, saw some pitches and executing. Getting the ground ball on the right side of the infield.
So Lee will work with the infield drawn in. Chris Young coming to the plate. Young, their DH today, has singled and popped out. David Ortiz doesn't make a lot of road trips in spring training. Pitch is taken for a strike. I was laughing the other day. This is, of course, Ortiz making his farewell tour in this 2016 season. And his tour is sponsored. I've never heard of that.
Really?
Yeah. They have a sponsor for his tour.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Who's the sponsor?
It's a supermarket in Boston. They've been a big Red Sox sponsor for a long time.
Oh, right.
Shaw's Supermarkets. And so Ortiz will run around, collect some gifts. If anybody needs new cars and extra furniture, it's probably David, right? 1 ball, 1-strike count. Pitch outside. No, on the corner for a strike. Well, that's going to happen. Incredibly, in light of all that's gone on with A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez chasing down that home run mark.
Right.
The Yankees are marketing the heck out of that, too. I mean, they talked about doing that before all the problems came up, and they're now back into that mode. So, whatever can be sold will be sold. That's a fair ball. Great play. Machado over, and he got him. That'll make him move in your seat. Not only gets the out, but keeps Mookie Betts at third base.
Pretty amazing play there by Manny Machado. Showing the great range. Incredible arm strength on a bullet from his knees. Impressive stuff. Chris Lee enjoyed that defensive play.
Wow. So Manny in midseason form here in this spring training game. Buck comes out Chris Lee will come out as well. Runner on third base, 2 down. Travis Shaw coming up when we come back. Sheridan will come on and try and hold the runner at third and get a final out.
Yeah, big lefty. Good arm, little cross-body delivery. Around for a little while. Getting another opportunity here. Of course, Dan Duquette loves to stockpile the arms.
Yep.
Especially guys that have had experience.
Travis Shaw, base hit, and he is popped out. And a good stop made by Matt Wieters. Betts down to third base, leadoff double. 2-1 ball game with the Red Sox on top. Home run by Holt, first inning. And a double play ground ball to score a run in the fourth, accounting for the Red Sox runs. The Orioles getting the RBI by Rickert in that fourth inning on a ground ball out after Hardy had the triple. Up high to him and a 2-0 count. Big cut on a big motion and an 87-mile-an-hour delivery.
Yeah, breaking ball there. Saw it well out of the hand, but big cut. Wasn't able to make the adjustment on the fly there.
2-1. Anderson over the top, and another good pitch. 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Nice line fastball. This one exploding at the top of the zone. I think that little bit of the cross-body delivery adds the extra deception. Some players are able to do that, stay consistent with their delivery and windup, and some can't. But if you can find that little niche, it gives you an advantage.
Added in one of the added players from the minor league camp that clubs add for a spring training game. Down to first base. Davis has got it, and the defense comes through, and Addington does as well. No runs despite the leadoff double, and a runner left on. It remains a 2-1 Red Sox lead. Hope you'll join us again on Thursday. More action from spring training as the Orioles will take on the Yankees. Our coverage on Masson at 1 o'clock. You can log on to MassonSports.com all spring long for daily news and notes from the Orioles spring training activities. 2-1 ball game. Good defense being played. Well played game. Well pitched game. Manny Machado in front of the sellout crowd here at Ed Smith Stadium. Manny with a base hit. Popped out. And Gold Glove play at third base. Pitch from Johnson will miss. So Brian Johnson's working on 3 innings here in this ball game. He'd worked only one other ball game against Minnesota, an inning and 2/3. A couple of runs, 2 hits in that game. So in his second outing, he's being stretched out. He was really good last year in the National League. Pawtucket, he led him in wins at a real good ERA of 2.53. Darren O'Day out of the ball game for the Orioles, coming on getting an inning's worth of work and joining us as he makes his way out. Darren, thanks very much. Good to see you.
Sure, guys.
How'd the performance go? Satisfied?
Not my best, but it's good practice for regular season. I'm not afraid to work out of those jams. So once you load the bases with no outs, getting out of there with 1 run given up is a victory.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you do that intentionally? Just to work on that kind of stuff? Because you are the master of getting out of the bases loaded jam.
No, I'm not practicing my walks here in spring training. It just wasn't as sharp as I could have been today. But yeah, that's how that happens during the season. You pitch 70 times a year. There's going to be a few outings like that. So you get through it the best you can.
How do you handle that though in spring training?
There's actually a good bit of that. We haven't pitched in 4 or 5 months, so
you just accept it.
Yeah, it's part of it. And then we had a couple awesome defensive plays behind me, so you got to appreciate those guys.
Darren, we were talking about how, with your experience, you may add to the likes of a Dylan Bundy in the bullpen. Do you see yourself kind of tutoring him a little bit if he, in fact, is going to be in that pen with you? Yeah.
It's going to be, we got a lot of good pitchers down here. If Dylan's the guy that jumps in the bullpen, we'll do everything we can to help him. He's a talented young kid. I still remember the first bullpen I ever saw him throw. And it's just the consistency and the stuff that he had. I'd love to see that out and see how it plays out in the major league level.
So, Darren, you've been really the anchor to this bullpen for the last few seasons, and it's always considered one of the best bullpens in the game. Has it changed, in your opinion, or... different arms have come in. It hasn't been, you and the same guys. There are always different personalities in there.
Yeah. The game has changed a little bit. More emphasis on the bullpens. Ours specifically, it's like a different feel every year. There's different menagerie of arms, if you will. Different arm slots and the way guys get out. And Buck really knows how to handle all those different tools that he has. And, the guys, we're consistent. We have a philosophy. The guys aren't chosen randomly. They're chosen for reasons, and Buck's kind of putting together his little toolbox for the end of games.
Darren, we appreciate it. Thanks very much, and we look forward to the season.
Sure, guys. Thanks for having me.
The bullpen menagerie.
Yeah, I think they all really complement each other. And Buck, I think Buck secretly, that might be one of his favorite things to do. It seems like it, to organize a bullpen and manage it, because he's considered one of the best in the business.
Chris Davis will follow back. Well, in this day and age, obviously, it is such an essential component with the starting pitchers not going very far in ball games compared to past times. Every team's looking at that. It'll be interesting this season. The American League East certainly is going to feature some bullpens with the Yankees. When they get Aroldis Chapman serves his suspension, comes back, they're going to have 3 real fine Betances and Miller out there along with Chapman, and the Orioles have got a very solid bullpen. Real strength of theirs. Toronto in the American League East going to rely more on their starters, just the other way around. They need their starters to go deep and try and get very deep into a ball game to the back of that bullpen. Tampa Bay, same thing. Tampa Bay's got their outstanding starters more than their bullpen. That ball being blown in, wind really ripping. Be hauled in. Davis retired 0 for 2 and a walk for Chris on the day.
Yeah, I think teams, I don't know if Buck Showalter does this, they just look at what they have and they kind of work that philosophy throughout the season. Now, I think every manager would love to have a pitcher go 9 innings every night and have a complete game, but it just doesn't seem to be working out that way. And look at the Kansas City Royals. I mean, they almost started a completely new philosophy by making the bullpen more, relevant than the starting pitcher.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how teams kind of work with that.
Red Sox, of course, with David Price added. We'll have some starting pitching. Price, Buchholz, Rick Porcello, former Oriole, Water Rodriguez. Then you got the number 5 spot, which will be battled for. Elias, who we saw in the ball game today, has got a shot at it. Steve Wright has got a chance at it. Joe Kelly, another name. We'll see how that breaks down for the Red Sox, but pretty good starting pitching.
They do. Well, they're going to need some guys to step up too. Porcello didn't have the year that he wanted to have. They had a lot of inconsistencies, and they're just looking to really stabilize the rotation and not just make it a mismatch. I mean, every weekend they were bringing in new arms. Guys weren't working out.
Fouled off by Adam Jones. Adam has hit into a double play, and he has popped out. 2-1 ball game with the Red Sox on top, playing here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Orioles looking for that number 1 win here in the spring training season. Adam will take it in the air to center field. He got a lot of that. Bradley with the numbers looking home. That wind will knock it down. He tagged that to the deepest part of the ballpark, but with that wind blowing in, no chance to beat it. And the Orioles are set down 1-2-3, and it remains 2-1 Boston. Sox have the 2-1 lead in the ball game. Another name talked about coming over from San Diego. Orishammer Despaigne on the mound.
Yeah, Despaigne very interesting and competing for a spot in the rotation, and he can mix it up. I mean, he's got all the offerings. He changes arm angles. He reminds me of, say, a David Cohn at the end of his career. The ability to just keep hitters guessing, never know what's coming out of his hand. There have been some control problems here early on in spring, but they like this chance to get Despaigne as another different look, and somebody that has had success in the major leagues. He has some quality off-speed pitches, but last year, for some reason, his off-speed pitches were getting hit. So the brain trust with Dave Wallace and Dom Chidi are going to work together, try to make some adjustments, and hope that he gets back to the form where he had so much success.
A little bit of defensive changes. Xavier Avery is going to come on to play in center field. Ryan Flaherty is in the ball game to play at third. So Jones and Machado are out of the ball game for the Orioles. Despaigne working to David Murphy. Murphy completely fooled on that one, the one-arm swing. Murphy had a base hit in the 4th inning, would come around to score. He has singled into a fielder's choice. Fouled off. Mr. Kirby directing traffic over there in the dugout for the outfielders. Making a point.
Yeah, most important thing for a young outfielder and infielder. You come over to the Orioles, you better get your head in the dugout because positioning is crucial.
Watch me.
Yeah.
That one bounced at the plate. For Despaigne, his third outing against Atlanta. A couple of runs, 3 hits in an inning and 2/3. Tough outing against Minnesota. 2 runs on 4 hits in just 2/3 of an inning. Third outing of the spring for him. That one is looped into right field, and that is going to be a base hit. Trumbo will have to play it off the base of the wall. And Murphy will lead it off with a double, his second hit of the ball game. Talk about going down and getting it.
Yeah, he did. Little change up right here. And it's got some good movement, but boy, that's how you use your legs, and he knows where the bat head is. Slowed some things down a little bit, got the bat head on it, and when you square it up, it jumps.
So leadoff man on, as they have had for the last 3 innings. Craig, a walk, and he has picked up a single. Espagne's pitch to him will come inside for a ball. 2 runs, 7 hits now for the Red Sox. A run on 7 hits for the Orioles. No errors committed in this ball game by either team, and both ball clubs have shown some pretty good D. Craig waiting on it, stays inside. That time will catch the corner for a strike. Murphy on its second. Not fleet of foot, and the Orioles give him some room as both Hardy and Jonathan Scope stay well off the bag. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to him. That one outside part of the plate, fouled away again.
Well, pretty good velocity there with some nice movement from Despaigne. 93 miles an hour on the heater. Really has to show that fastball, show that he can hold the velocity, really help the secondary pitches play up.
Wind at times here has really ripped this afternoon, coming in from left field. That is there for a strike.
Oh, a good breaking ball.
He got him. 1 away.
Yeah, looks a couple 90-plus fastballs in there. And it's a nice hammer. You see the hitter overcommitting. Gets the hands out. And the bat head didn't come across the plate, but that's what happens when you have the good fastball. He tried to cheat to it a little bit, put a little wrinkle in, get a hitter out in front.
We have Jackie Bradley Jr. He's had a couple of walks in the ball game. Bouncer gets away, a runner stays. Murphy unsure of how far that ball was going away from Matt Wieters and not taking the chance to go down.
Yeah, if you're a base runner and you don't anticipate a ball in the dirt, chances are you're not going to be able to advance because you second guess yourself. But if you're out on the bases and you're thinking about paying attention to the signs, seeing that ball, the angle of the ball, a lot of times if the ball doesn't even get a foot or 2 away from a catcher, you can advance.
Pitch is going to miss inside. 2-0 count. And that's what we were talking about earlier on the base running that Buck is emphasizing with the Orioles. That's the kind of situation he wants the players to be aware of.
Absolutely.
Anticipate. Well, strike on the outside corner.
We were playing Tampa Bay a few days ago, and of course got to see Steve Pearce, and I think we can all agree that Steve Pearce was one of the better base runners for the Orioles. And he got on first base and a ball just bounced away from Wieters. He had a great read, got to second base, and there were 2 outs in the inning. He eventually scored, and those are the type of plays that can change a ball game.
And if you hesitate, really no matter how fast you are, if you hesitate, you're dead.
Yeah.
You either go when the ball gets away or you don't. 2-2 delivery on the way. That one's in the dirt as well. Wieters down to block it. Despaigne takes the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Jackie Bradley Jr.
Tough block there for Wieters. A lot easier when the ball is closer to you. That breaking ball got spiked out in front of home plate. No idea where it's going to go.
28-year-old right-hander. Delivers 3-2, and that's going to be a base hit into left field. Murphy got the jump. He will hold up, though. Not deep in left field. Rickert there, and no chance for the runner to score. With the Red Sox threatening again. First and third, one out.
Nice piece of hitting by Bradley. And Joey Rickert, great closing job on that baseball. Brian Butterfield, the Red Sox third base coach, has put the arms up in a hurry.
A lot of showtime out there so far for Rickert in left field. He's really getting a chance, and he's taking advantage of it. So Marrero will get the opportunity. He had a chance for an RBI in the fourth inning, get into a double play with the bases loaded. Run did score, however, and that one got him. Inside, hit by pitch, they're loaded again.
And that fastball took off. A lot of times pitchers, first pitch, try to brush a guy off the plate. Just get him thinking. He didn't want to stick it in his ribs.
That hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Spring training or otherwise, that one hurt. So the veteran catcher, Butler, with the bases loaded. Murphy, Bradley, and an opportunity for big inning. On the other hand, a ground ball. Get him out of it.
And that's the thing that most good pitchers realize is one pitch away from getting out of this inning. Even though there's chaos, it seems, all around, the good ones have a way to settle down and execute that big pitch.
Well, he blew that one by him, no chance. 93 miles an hour, did not get a good cut on that pitch.
Yeah, that ball just takes off. Now, Despaigne has the ability to change arm angles as well. And when he drops down a little bit, that three-quarter, runs that fastball in there, 93, it just takes off in under the hands.
So a two-strike count. Sacks full, ground ball, not hit hard. Davis will charge. Flip, Despaigne covers, run will score. Murphy comes in from third base. Butler will get an RBI, and it is a 3-1 ball game.
Well, for a brief second, I thought Davis might come home, try to cut that run down. A little too deep, though. Decision, take that out.
Well, the Red Sox have taken advantage of opportunities. Home run by Holt, but then a double play, ground ball, one run, and here's a RBI picked up on the slow roller to first base. So two in scoring position, now two down. Mookie Betts, the leadoff batter, a double, has popped out, grounded out. Wieters takes the pitch down and in, makes the catch on it, and a 1-0 count. Outfield moving in a few steps here as that wind continues to blow. It's really held some balls up. 1-0 delivery to him, breaking ball, and a good one in there for a strike.
Yeah, pretty good one. He's got the big curveball. He's got the harder slider. Has a good changeup. And of course, we mentioned those arm angles being able to change, and that's what's so intriguing about him. You know, if he can throw pitches for strikes, he can really.
Davis will not have a play. Back into the seats.
Keep hitters off balance, and obviously that is the key. When you start changing arm angles and a hitter flinches or starts thinking about something else, advantage goes to pitcher.
Despaigne with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. The other thing Despaigne has going for him, the way Buck Showalter works pitchers, he's got options. Pitch will be taken up high. So he is a player whose options are actually going to last for 3 years. This one and 2 more. And that kind of a pitcher tends to get some visibility with the Orioles, who have shown a willingness and a need at times to move people up and down from the minors to the majors. Got underneath that one and popped it up third base. Look at the wind. Oof. Makes everything tough. Flaherty able to put it away. Betts retired to run in. Couple left in scoring position. Couple of hits in the inning. 3-1 Boston. Outstanding job of 3-inning work coming out of the bullpen for Johnson, the left-hander Brian Johnson. He's now out of the ball game, and we'll get another tall drink of water on the mound.
Yeah, Kyle Martin, last season in Double-A, 30 games, 4-1 record with a 4.11 earned run average, but 52 punch-outs and only 16 walks. Red Sox like him, protected him on the 40-man roster. And give him a good look here in the spring.
He's only 25 years old. He is 6'7", 230 pounds. This will be year number 4 of professional baseball. He's not appeared at the major league level, playing in the minor league system of Boston, out of Austin, Texas, and a 9th round choice, 2013. And that one right by him, and a base hit. Mark Trumbo again ready to jump on the first pitch. Second single of the ball game. 2 for 3 for Trumbo today. Bryce Brentz has come on to play in left field for the Red Sox. Brian Lamar will be in center field. Bradley is out of there. Brendan Bush is going to come on to play in left field. In right field, rather. Brandon Bush on in right. So changes for Boston. Here is Matt Wieters. Wieters with a runner on at first. He has struck out and grounded out. Matt does look to lay down the bunt, and it wouldn't be a sacrifice. Alvarez has come on to pinch run at first base for Trumbo.
Yeah, I like that idea there by Matt Wieters. And those are the type of situations. You know the game situation, the game feel. Yeah, the Orioles need to get runners on base. There's an opportunity for Matt. Pick up a base hit and get Alvarez over in scoring position as well. And there you go. It forces the Red Sox defense to make it an adjustment.
They didn't believe him the first time.
Yeah.
They believe him the second time.
And not completely over, but the third baseman certainly has to honor the bunt.
Well, let's see whether that stays true. Wieters 2-0 count. And a swing and a miss on the off-speed delivery. Marco Hernandez has come on to play at short. Sean Coyle is at second base now for Holt. And Sam Travis is at first. The Red Sox wholesale changes here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kyle Martin delivers. Wieters another floater. A little breaking ball down and into him. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, either breaking ball or change, whatever it was, a real good arm speed and gets Matt Wieters out in front on back-to-back pitches. You see the frustration here on Wieters' face.
The defensive changes for Boston. Princeton's in left. Murray is in right.
Alvarez the lead at first base, not a big one. Infield now backs up. And it goes away from him this time with the 80-mile-an-hour delivery. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Well, let's see whether or not the Orioles put a man in motion here at first with nobody out. Chris Dominguez playing at third base for Boston. Three-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and a fastball that will miss down low. So Wieters works out the walk. 2 on, nobody out, 6th inning. Opening day is less than a month away. Get ready for it in the upcoming season. Secure your spot with the Orioles full or partial season plan. Season plan members get exclusive ticket savings, the most flexible exchange policy in baseball, and priority access to postseason tickets and access to tickets for opening day. Don't miss an inning of it. Orioles.com/season or 888-848-BIRD. Paul Janisch comes on to run at first base for Wieters. So Alvarez at second. Janisch on at first base. And here's J.J. Hardy. Double and a single for Hardy. Pitch is on the inside corner for a strike from Kyle Martin.
And
Hardy, good day.
Yeah, great at bats today. He's been having some great swings in ball games. Has a couple home runs taken away because the wind pushing in so much, but I know everybody's encouraged by the way JJ's been swinging it and playing shortstop.
0-1 delivery to him. Stayed up, but only at 79, and an 0-2 count.
And that's danger zone there. Now, he obviously likes his changeup, but if you leave it elevated, boy, JJ wants that one back for sure.
Martin had a very short season last year, 27 appearances. He was on the DL for nearly 2 months total last season. 0-2 delivery, and that one grounded towards short. Hernandez, Coyle, they turn a big double play. Alvarez moves over to third base, but there are 2 down as the Red Sox get the ground ball they wanted.
Now Martin pitching backwards, able to get the double play ground ball on J.J. Hardy and help kind of minimize the damage here so far in this inning with the Orioles threatening.
So 2 away, runner at third, 3-1 lead for the Red Sox. And Jonathan Scope, he's picked up a base hit, and he has grounded out. He'll take a wrinkle on the outside corner for a strike. Orioles getting their lone run in the 4th on the RBI by Rickard on a ground ball out. A lot of chances here today, and here's another one. Here's the 0-1 to him, and a swing and a miss, 81 miles an hour. Probably standing in the box looking out at a guy this size, expecting about 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And he's throwing all this off-speed stuff.
Yeah, that is, unless he's come into camp working on the changeup, it appears to be his favorite pitch.
0-2 the count on Scope. Will miss with that one inside. Among the players who have a chance for a breakout year, certainly Jonathan is one of those with the Orioles. He's got power, can be a gap hitter. As Mike mentioned earlier, probably a little more patience needed at the plate with a young player. He really has got a chance, I think, to have a really solid 2016.
He sure does.
Runner off third base, 1-2 delivery, and that's going to be foul back.
Well, when you have an offense set up like the Orioles have, it takes a lot of pressure off younger players. It really does. I mean, Buck Showalter loves Jonathan Scope's defense. That's why he's on this team. He can turn a double play as well as anybody. He's a big kid and is a power threat. But the things that Jonathan Scope are doing at the plate, you know, typically take some time. And Buck Showalter's willing to do that with a young player if he can handle the defense. Well, Scope's had a couple years now in the big leagues. His best friend is playing third base, so he's comfortable right now. And I think everybody in the clubhouse feels that Jonathan Scope is going to emerge as one of the best second basemen in the game.
2-ball, 2-strike count on him here, trying to get that run in from third base. Alvarez, a pinch runner for Mark Trumbo, led the inning off with a single. Now can they get him in? Each team with 8 hits in the ball game. 2-ball, 2-strike count. And a foul ball. Couldn't get that one to set. Pitch, it was away. They go the opposite field down the line. Holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good approach there. After steady diet of breaking balls or change-ups to slow a hitter down, just to sneak that fastball by him on the outside corner. And if a hitter leaks on that pitch with 2 strikes, you know, pitcher's going to win that battle. Scope stays on it and drives one, just missing it down the line.
And that one is going to be away. Good night. With the base hit he's picked up today, Jonathan off to a good start at the plate for the Orioles. He came in 11 at bats, 4 hits. He's added to that, so trying to pick up an RBI. He's got 3 driven in so far this spring. 3-ball, 2-strike delivery to him. Grounded foul again. Bobby Dickerson showing the shoes are still quick at third base.
Yeah, you better watch out down there. You know, Buck Showalter talked all the time when he came over about having a team full of big, hairy guys. Just hit the home runs. Well, he's got it. He's got some monsters on this team. And Scope gets out in front here and see Bobby, the quick feet. Nice little dance step there. Full
count, 3-2 again. out in front of it and will foul it right straight back. So a battle here, Scope and Kyle Martin. Orioles have cut the lead in this ball game, made it a one-run ball game earlier. Red Sox, as soon as the Orioles get one on, put another one on. There is Alvarez at third base. 3-2 for the third time. And he will be out of there. Travis had moved over towards that second base spot. Line drive hit hard, but right at him. No runs. One hit, one left on base. 3-1 Boston. Todd Redmond is going to come on for the Orioles. Despaigne worked an inning, a run on a couple of hits, one strikeout, and no walks for him. This will be outing number 3 for Redmond.
Yeah, Redmond last season in the minors, of course, he was with the Blue Jays for a couple of years and did a nice job with them. And Buck Showalter, Dave Wallace hoping he can catch that same spark he had with the Blue Jays, because he had some success and really filled in nicely as spot starter and a reliever. We're hoping he can get back on track here with the O's.
A lot of changes for the Orioles as we go to the 7th inning. L.J. Hose has come on to play in left field. Avery was already in at center, and Alvarez stays in the ball game after pinch running in right. Tollison is going to play at third. Giannis, who pinch ran, will go to short. Flaherty third to second. And Christian Walker on for Chris Davis. Caleb Joseph behind the plate. Fouled off down the left field line and out of play. This is Marco Hernandez, who came on to play at short. AA, AAA last year with some very solid numbers.
Yeah, very impressive.
So Hernandez getting his first shot at the plate. Redmond gets the ground ball. Fair ball. Goes into foul territory. It was out of the reach of Walker. Alvarez over to get it. And it will be a leadoff double. So Hernandez takes advantage of an at-bat with a 2-bagger. And again, the Red Sox able to get the leadoff man on base.
Yeah, getting on this pitch. And as the field dries out in the hot sun, as soon as the ball hits the dirt, it's going to pick up some speed and kick by. Walker looked like he had a good read on that ball. But the Super Bowl hop kicks by him for the double.
5 out of 7 innings now. The Red Sox have had the leadoff man on base and scored him in the 4th and again in the 6th. And another opportunity here. Let's see if they can get the runner advance. Chris Young on the big cut. He has singled, popped out, and grounded out. His job here to get that runner over to third base and another scoring opportunity. Flaherty, second baseman, closest to the bag, will hold Hernandez. Redmond's delivery to him outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
This defense here that the Orioles have, not the front line D, but certainly guys that have proven themselves at the major league level. Tolleson with the Orioles before and has had success for a couple years in the big leagues. Giannis had a chance last year, really impressed, 4 years in the big leagues.
He got jammed on that one. It'll go to first where Walker will put it away and Young's retired. 1 out.
Take that out there. And of course, Ryan Flaherty with the Orioles now. This will be his 4th season, but he's done some really good things here this spring, and Mr. Super Utility to put him anywhere on the field. And I wouldn't be surprised. I think there are some question marks here in spring training, and talking about the corner outfielders. Flaherty's name comes up, you know. He's that good where he could be out there and play the outfield as well, and I think Buck Showalter would trust him. So talk about corner outfielders. Flaherty's name's there as well.
Brennan Bosch, first at bat for him. Non-roster invitee, runner on at second base and 1 down, and the pitch will miss away for a ball. Bosch, of course, made a name for himself with the Detroit Tigers. That ball slashed in the air to center. Avery going back. He was playing shallow. It'll be over his head to the wall. Hernandez will come around to score. It'll be an RBI double. And the Red Sox have a 4-1 lead.
Just when you think you can shorten up a little bit in the outfield, the wind howling in, Bosch just drops some head. Now that is a backspin swing. Going right down to the baseball. And it is cutting through the wind. And you're going to do a lot to beat Xavier Avery. He has tremendous speed out there in center field. Bosch does, and picks up a pretty good insurance run here.
Hit number 10. So the Red Sox into double digits. 1 down, runner on at second base. Bosch picking up the RBI. Travis will take the pitch. And it is in there for a strike. Sam Travis getting his first at bat. David Murphy hit in the spot at a double single and 2 runs scored. Grounded down to third, and a foul ball by just that much. Bosch will head back to second base, and Travis back to the mound. Back to the plate, rather.
Well, you love to see young players that get opportunities in spring training. I want to talk about a focus that's as high as it's going to be. These guys want to impress, you know, and they're trying to make a team, or at least make a name for themselves, so the manager remembers them when they're down in the minor leagues. You guys are hacking right now.
Travis, only 22 years old, just his 3rd professional season. Out of Chicago, 2nd-round pick in 2014. He's hit .310 at the minor league levels over the last 2 years. 1-2 delivery on the way, grounded toward short. Runner's going to stay. Giannis makes the play, and Sam Travis is retired. They get the out, and Bosch has to stay at second base. 2 down.
And Giannis definitely in the mix as far as an extra player for the Orioles. Proven glove man.
Came up last year and played some real good defense for the Orioles. Bryce Brentz will get his first at bat. Runner at second, 2 down, takes the big cut. Brentz coming on to play left field for the Red Sox. Brendan Bosch will get a big lead at second. The Orioles not going to hold him tight to the bag. Fastball from Redmond will ride inside, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Again, we were talking about base running. If you're out there and you're Bosch, you're really looking to gain an extra step here in that secondary lead.
Yeah, you can feel the middle infielders back off you. Because in this type of situation with the 2 outs, infielders want to give themselves as much room as possible to make a play. They want to have maximum range capacity. If you're cheating in on a base runner, you know, you could lose a step or half a step, which could be the difference in a run. So middle infielders are backed off of Bosch. but their eyes are on him, because if he gets too far, that's a free out. And sometimes runners hang themselves up.
Rance on a big swing and a miss. The strikeout recorded, a run in on a couple of hits with a base runner left on. It's 7th inning stretch time in Sarasota. The Orioles that are around Major League Baseball, Chris Davis has made that both in the field and at the plate. As we said earlier, probably not as much credit for what he does in the field as what he does at the plate, because over the last years since 2012, 159 home runs, nobody has hit more than Chris in that time span. And he is joining us here after coming out of the ball game as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the Orioles trailing it here by a score of 4-1. Chris, we talked about the defense being played. You've played third, outfield, first base. You got one that you enjoy playing more than another?
I enjoy first base. You know, I think probably logged more time over there than anywhere else, and definitely pretty good. Yep. Definitely more time at first in the past few years. So that's probably my favorite. But you know, I think with our lineup and the versatility of all the guys that we have, you know, I think guys are open and moving around and doing whatever they can doing whatever they can to help the team win.
Well, I don't really foresee you moving around too much. I think you should have won a Gold Glove at first base a couple years ago, and I don't see why you shouldn't be able to do that this year. It seems like your focus is better than it's ever been, and you kind of seem like a man on a mission.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate that. I've taken a lot of pride in my defense since I've come over here, and you know just as well as anybody that all the work that I've put in is you know, there's intent behind it. You know, I'm not just going out there going through the motions with you and Bobby and Dave. You know, I want to be the best that I can be at first base, and you know, I think just as far as our infielders are concerned, the last few years, you know, I've taken a lot of pride in picking those guys up and you know, earning their trust and their confidence. So I'd love to stay over there, but at the same time, I understand that you know, sometimes it calls for me to go elsewhere.
Chris, you're going to be part of a real power hitting lineup. It was anyway, but it looks like it may even be added to. You like that? I mean, you got some pretty good big bats in that lineup for the coming year. Yeah,
I do. You know, I think that's kind of been our MO the last few years is, you know, power baseball. We play good defense, you know, and we hit the ball hard, and we got a lot of guys in the lineup this year that can drive in a lot of runs and do a lot of damage. So I've been really impressed with the way guys have gone about their bats the first few games as far as the starters are concerned. Guys aren't just going up there and hacking. They're trying to see pitches and and work on stuff. And, you know, the results aren't exactly where we would want them to be right now, but I think the work is right where it should be.
No, I'm a witness to that. I'll attest to that for sure. Chris, coming into spring training, other than getting a contract done, was there anything specific you wanted to try to improve on?
Yeah, I think just being a little bit more patient at the plate. I think last year I set a career high for walks and felt like I really could have walked, you know, maybe even 20 or 30 more times, and obviously cutting down on the strikeouts. I understand that I'm a guy that's going to have high strikeouts. You kind of get that with the power, but I'm not real happy about striking out 200 times last year, even with all the home runs. It just to me it's not a productive out.
Chris, we really appreciate it. Have a great season. Thanks for taking the time.
You bet, guys.
Chris Davis joining us in the ball game today at first base with the Orioles, where obviously he is going to be, as Mike indicated, for virtually every start he makes this year. Pitch is going to be taken inside. The Orioles runner at first base and one down. Flaherty getting his first at bat in the ball game. The Orioles have now picked up 9 hits themselves, but only been able to push across 1 run so far. Second inning for Kyle Martin on the mound. Base hit. Rugged leading the inning off. A couple of hits and an RBI and a ground ball out today for the Orioles left fielder. That pitch is going to tail away, and a 2-ball 1-strike count.
Ryan Flaherty has had himself a great spring training so far. Really squaring up the baseball, and has put together some quality at bats. I mean, he hasn't done a lot of chasing. His feet are quiet in the box, and seems like a different type of confidence here for Ryan Flaherty this year. Maybe it's just maturity, being around for a number of years now, but I know Buck Showalter is really excited about what he's seeing from Flaherty.
Oriole depth is made possible by so-called super utility players, and Ryan Flaherty is one of those for the skipper. Can play anywhere in the infield, can play the outfield, and makes such a difference in this day and age. If you've got those talents, you can get a spot on the roster, and that's what Ryan Flaherty has done. 3-1 delivery, runner not going at first base, and he takes it inside. Did he go? Check at third. No. So again, Orioles putting some birds on the base paths here. It's only the second walk they have picked up, third walk they have picked up in the ball game. Runners on at first and second and 1 out. And Christian Walker will get an at bat.
Christian Walker, we've talked about him for a couple years now. This kid's a player, worked on his defense, and boy, he's knocking on the door. And they're expecting some huge things from Walker this year. And if he doesn't break with the team, I'm sure we're going to be seeing him during the season.
2 on and 1 out. Walker with power. That overhand wrinkle is in there, and a swinging strike 0-1. Red Sox pitchers have thrown a lot of pitches today, but they've been able to get big outs. The Orioles have had runners on all except 1 inning. There's a towering pop-up that'll be blown towards the Oriole dugout, and no chance on that one. Sam Travis came over, leaning over, but out of his reach.
There's a new rule on the foul balls as well. The fielder can't leave the field. The 2 feet have to stay in the field. The catchers that possibly slide in the dugout making a play,
no more.
No more.
Just trying to keep the injuries down. That's really been the focus of the changes in Major League rules over the last few seasons. And with good reason. You cannot afford to be losing players to injuries on ball clubs. There's just not that much depth around Major League Baseball anymore. 2-strike count. And we'll miss it inside low.
With the size of the contracts, I can understand that, but I think there's something about the game that has to be different to make it Major League Baseball. And obviously you're getting the best talent. Guys hit the ball the farthest and they make the best plays. But I remember as a young player coming up to the major leagues, and I'm just kind of referring to the Chase Utley rule this year. That was part of being a major leaguer, understanding that guys are going to break up double plays. So it's up to you as a middle infielder to get out of the way, because they are going to do whatever they can, whether it be jumping over a base or like Al McRae taking Willie Randolph out in the left field. It was, yeah, is it dirty? Yeah, but that's their job, to break up the double play, and it's the job of middle infielder to try to get out of the way and understand what they're trying to do. It's going to be kind of interesting to see. I think the game's kind of evolved in that way, that maybe middle infielders don't have that type of skill set anymore to really get their feet up off the ground.
Well, here's a play that resulted in the rule change, which will, I guess, forever be known as the Utley rule, as Utley clearly went in to take out the defensive player on that big play.
And in that situation, he's defenseless, but he had a decision. He knew Utley was going to be down on him. Why would you turn your back? Make sure of the out and just jump up, and you get to play the next day.
In the air to right center field, Christian Walker back to the wall, and it will be hauled in. Bosch going back to get it. Runner will tag. So the Utley rule, as we said, it's now called. This is it. You got to make a bona fide event attempt to reach and remain on the base when you're sliding. You can still have contact so long as the slide is one that's permissible, and you can't use the roll block anymore, which makes sense. That was a dangerous play. Runners have got to make contact with the ground before they reach the base, slide within reach of the base with either their hand or foot, and attempt to stay on the base after completing their slides. We talked to J.J. Hardy about that, and we all have here, about the rule. I mean, it may invite more physical contact at second base, because the other thing that has to happen is that the defensive players, there's no more Olay play around second. You got to get on the bag.
Stay on it. Yeah.
You got to stay on the bag, catch the ball, have the ball while you're on the bag. Well, there were a lot of situations where second and shortstop were getting the ball when coming across the bag when they were off it.
Exactly.
There may be more contact than there was before.
I think you're right. I think you're exactly right, because as long as a runner shows that he can reach the base, you know, he still has room to upend a middle infielder.
Yeah, that's for sure. They've tried to make sure it's not the old Ty Cobb slide with your spikes and cleats up around your eyeballs. You can't go slide what is above the, it's got to be below the,
I thought it was the knee.
The knee. It's got to be below the knee.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty low area for coming in.
But there is definitely an art, though, to getting out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, the ability to make a throw and get your feet up off the ground, and how your knees are set. I remember, you know, being drilled to not lock your leg when you turn. You have to have some flex so you don't get your leg hurt or you know. So I don't know. I just think it's a lost art in the game, and I think it's because of just, you know, players don't want to hurt players anymore, and now that the rules are coming out like that, and it's obviously something that the league is paying attention to.
Avery getting his first at bat. Runners at first and third here with 2 down.
Where do you take your aggression out now? Because you can't charge the mound.
Don't come to the TV booth.
Okay? You're supposed to do it on the bases.
Just don't come to the TV booth. That's all we have. Don't be throwing baseballs or bats up here. We haven't got anything to do with it.
I agree.
We're completely
down there.
Completely out of the play. Smash your hand against the old water cooler. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And Avery will go down swinging. So Kyle Martin picks up the strikeout. The Orioles again leave a couple on base after a leadoff single, and the Red Sox have a 4-1 lead. where the sun is out and the sea is right there for you to dive into. Red Sox have a 4-1 lead. Now, some might like to go to the beach, enjoy the sand, the surf, the sun. Others, not so much. They build igloos.
How about that?
Mike, what'd you do in the offseason?
We built an igloo. We had that monster snowstorm up there, and this is where I slept. No, kids played there. I mean, it was awesome.
Tollison will make the play. One down.
This is what you do. See, I grew up in Maine.
Yes.
So, a lot of snow. And
yes.
And we had a snowstorm in Baltimore. It was about 2 feet. And why not build an igloo? You just dig it out. It's already kind of compacted in there where the snowplow made the big pile. And it's safe, too, until it starts melting.
Well, nothing lasts forever. But the door design was what struck me.
You like that?
I do like that.
The arch?
The arch was particularly great. I mean, there could have been.
You should see the interior pictures. I mean, really beautiful.
Did you hang some art on the wall? He got it. So hit batter Dominguez in his first at bat will get down to first base.
Yeah, his fastball just running in hard. A couple Red Sox guys have taken off the ribs. Fastball just riding hard up and in.
I thought perhaps you had gone to Paris and Notre Dame and outlined the entrances to that great cathedral and then built it yourself in the igloo because it had that look to it.
Yeah, well,
you know, you are who you are. I mean, if you're a designer like you are, that's the way it is.
Right. I design igloos.
Did you sleep in it at all, though, really?
No.
No?
No, I did not.
That's disgusting.
And unfortunately, it didn't last very long.
No.
Well, maybe fortunately, because the beauty, I think, of living in Baltimore is the snow goes away.
Quickly.
And you know, like I do in Maine, it
never
doesn't.
goes away.
Never.
0-1 pitch will be taken for a strike on the inside corner. Now, if you go to Quebec City during their great winter festival up there, you can stay in igloos. They actually build a hotel every year as part of the Winter Carnival. And you can actually, it's like a hotel. They have an entranceway. They have the beds inside. And you rent it. You rent rooms just like you would any hotel room. You stay inside the igloo. It's great.
You been there? Seems kind of
I have been there. Yes. Used to go there when I was doing hockey. It seemed as though when I was doing the New Jersey Devils, we were there every time the event was going on. And inevitably, someone would decide to stay in the igloo. Not pretty. That'll go to right near the line and be hauled in. Runner halfway back. Alvarez over to make the catch. Butler is retired. Here in the 8th inning, 2 down.
Nice play there by Alvarez. Talk about that corner outfield spot being kind of opened up. Well, Dariel Alvarez proving he has a major league arm. He's a little susceptible right now to some off-speed pitches, but his name is certainly in the mix for winning a spot. L.J. Hose, playing left field today, is having himself a great spring and always brings a good energy.
Doyle will get his first at bat off the end of the middle, and that will be hauled in by Flaherty. Soft line drive, no runs, no hits, no errors. One left on. Red Sox have led throughout, and they do now. Going to the bottom of the 8th. presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick with you here in Sarasota as the Orioles trail the Red Sox by a score of 4-1. 19 hits combined in the ball game, and Mendez on to pitch for Boston.
Yeah, last season brought over from Texas, helped the Red Sox out. 15 games, 5.27 earned run average. A lot of work with the Rangers or the Red Sox last season, but a good arm. And Red Sox think he's going to help their bullpen, or at least have some depth for their bullpen.
Solis will come on to do the catching. Ali Solis is Vasquez, then Butler, and now Solis behind the plate for Boston. Daniel Alvarez will stand in. Alvarez here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And will take the pitch for a strike. Kyle Martin worked a couple of innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Sox pitchers not using as many as we might see in a spring training game this time of year. Elias worked a couple of innings. Johnson worked 3, and now 2 by Martin. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox are really kind of showcasing a few players because Eduardo Rodriguez is a big question mark here this spring with the knee problems. So there may be an opening in that rotation.
Yep. And a good breaking ball that'll catch the inside corner. Daniel Alvarez backing off a bit, and a 1 ball, 2 strike count on him. Outfield shifting around to right. One of the few days here at this ballpark, at least, where you have the wind blowing in for the entire ball game. Generally here, the wind is out. In fact, for most ballparks, just because of the way they're laid out sun-wise, you end up here in Florida with the wind coming in, blowing out most games. That ball put up in the air towards third. Dominguez, you see how it's blowing it in towards the mound. He'll put it away. Alvarez is retired.
Infielders, outfielders like they cannot give up on fly balls here in spring training, and you almost see 9 guys going after 1 ball until somebody starts taking charge and screaming for it. Dominguez, nice job when that ball reached its apex. He knew it was going to be blowing around, but he didn't want anybody around him, so he let everyone know that it was his. And he's going to use the whole infield to track that one down.
And did. Here's Paul Yanish. Yanish with 1 away and nobody on. Shows bunt as he had Dominguez back at third base. Orioles have left 9 on base in the ball game. They've had a runner on in every inning except the 5th. Their lone run coming in a ground ball out by Rickard in the 4th inning. Only home run, Brock Holt got it in the 1st. Otherwise, pitching and defense have pretty much dominated this baseball game.
Yeah, pretty solid game, both teams. The Orioles, hey, you just want the opportunities. You know, I think during the season, it might have been a different outcome because when we had the runners at first and second, there was a base hit to left field. Joey Rickard, JJ got held up there. And I think that's just stay safe in spring training. Mm-hmm. Do not need JJ Hardy, Gold Glove shortstop, getting hurt in a spring training game. So put the brakes on, and maybe in spring in a controlled atmosphere, sure, you can take advantage of bases, but you don't want your frontline shortstop taking a chance at a collision at the plate. I think.
Absolutely. 2 ball, 2 strike count.
Look at Mark Quinn, though.
Yeah.
Who's assistant hitting coach.
2-2, got that one. That'll go into the gap. He'll go for, nope, thought about 2, but heads back. Way off on the overthrow. But it'll be backed up by the pitcher, Mendez. So Paul Yanish is on with a single. 1 on, 1 down here in the 8th inning.
piece of hitting there by Paul Janisch. I think offensively, anything he can do is really gravy. Always been considered a great defender.
L.J. Hose will get his first chance at the plate today with the Astros. The numbers now back with the Orioles. Mendez misses, pitch away and a breaking ball and a 1-0 count. Second meeting of these two teams on the year. They'll meet spring training wise. They'll meet a total of 5 times this spring. 1-0 pitch. Came back inside and will miss with that. Red Sox will open the season on the road at Cleveland. Then after their road trip, John Farrell's ball club will come home on April 11th and play the Orioles for the Red Sox home opener. 2-0 count on Hose. Off the end of the bat in the air, first base side. Sam Travis is over and puts it away. 2 down.
A few of these Red Sox pitchers coming in with the idea of pitching backwards. Mendez now starting hitters off with sliders, and then you don't want the payoff pitch, the fastball. Much like Kyle Martin did with his changeup, and then at the end would throw the fastball. A lot of pitching coaches have that type of philosophy, just to mix things up a little bit.
Yep.
If you have the ability to throw your off-speed pitches for strikes.
2 down. Janisch remains at first on a throw over. Updating on some of the Orioles here. Chris Tillman and Kevin Gausman are both going to pitch on Thursday. They are going to pitch in a B game, which will be against the Pirates in a morning game. So Tillman and Gausman will get some work in there. The ball down to third. A fair ball. Dominguez with a nice play. Throw and not in time. Steve Tollison able to beat that one out. Ball was hit hard. Dominguez did a good job to stop it.
Yeah, real nice play there from Dominguez and showing off the strong arm, but just a little bit offline. That's some big time range right there. Well, Manny Machado over on the grass, but you see the throw pulling first baseman just off the line. Tollison sniffing out that base hit. Good for him picking up the knock. Been a slow start to spring.
So the Orioles again get a couple on. Down to second base, Janisch, and Tollison on at first with 2 down. And Caleb Joseph hitting in the 9 spot now. Will get an opportunity at the plate. Two away, 2 on, 4-1. Boston leading in the 8th inning. Mendez uses the high set, and the pitch will miss down low for a ball. Yvonne Gallardo is going to pitch in the ball game tomorrow against the Phillies. They'll be playing the Phillies spring training home. Jeremy Hellickson will be scheduled to go for the Phillies in the ball game tomorrow. 1-0 count. Pitch outside. Orioles are going to play the Phillies on the trip north. When the spring training season is over, their final ball game will be against the Phillies in Philadelphia before they get back to Baltimore. Two 2-0 count. Caleb Joseph RBI chance with 2 down. And they foul that one off right at the plate.
Caleb's coming into camp with big time confidence. Another solid year last season.
With Matt Wieters down, Caleb Joseph just an outstanding job working behind the plate for the Orioles. 49 runs batted in, 11 home runs. Breaking ball will miss outside. And a 3-ball, 1-strike count on Joseph.
Yeah, a couple years ago when Matt Wieters went down, I think the organization was in a panic. It was actually Brady Anderson said, listen, Caleb Joseph has a skill set that will work at this level. Caleb attributed to him how hard he had worked, and when he came up, he made an impact.
Hit hard to center field, but it's playable. Army there to put it away, and again the Orioles will leave a couple on base. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on. We go to the 9th inning, 4-1 Boston. And back here in Sarasota, a 4-1 Boston lead. Red Sox have led throughout in this ball game after the home run by Holt in the first inning. See all the hits that have been piled up. Here's Dale Thayer.
Yeah, Thayer came over from the Padres, a veteran pitcher, over 4 years in the major leagues, had a 406 earned run average with a couple wins last season, 37 2/3 innings of work. Unique delivery, kind of stabs his arm in the back. He's an experienced guy, veteran guy, and they're hoping, that he can help continue to add the depth or maybe be a spark for either the bullpen or spot start occasionally.
So Thayer will work here in the 9th inning as the Orioles will have a final shot at it in the bottom half. And the Red Sox try and add to it. Marco Hernandez playing at short for Boston. Had a double, scored in the 7th inning. And will take the pitch away for a ball. Both these ball clubs, a lot of base runners. Red Sox have had somebody on and somebody left in all but the second, third inning of this game. That's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Hernandez. Fastball touching 90 and also touching the inside corner.
Good pitch there. Working the perimeter right now with the heater.
One and 2. Hit hard to first, and that will go down the line, a fair ball under the glove of Walker, and another double. And it's just been amazing here in this ball game. Now the Red Sox have been able to get these leadoff men on base, and for the second time in 2 at-bats, Hernandez has a double.
Yeah, he gets on the fastball in, and just scoots by Walker. Squares it up. Tough to see out of the stands with the sun, but the harder it's hit, the lower you get. You try to get the eyes right behind the baseball, give you a better chance to flag one down, or at least knock it down, keep him at first.
So another chance for the Red Sox. All day at the plate. Forrest all day. Again, a chance for a Red Sox hitter to move a runner up here. Maybe push another one across. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Each team with 11 hits in today's game. 1-1 delivery. This is the way 2-ball, 1-strike count.
So pitchers use spring training to obviously work on their command, but it's really their delivery that they're trying to lock down, to have it consistent and repeatable. And you see time and time again in spring training where a pitcher gets out of his rhythm with his delivery and becomes erratic. And the whole goal is to try to right yourself on the next pitch or understand what you did wrong. Occasionally you'll need a pitching coach, Dave Wallace, to come out and tell you, but as a veteran pitcher, you should understand or have a feel for what you're doing and the ability to make those adjustments on the fly.
So Alday picks up the walk, putting runners on at first and second. Brendan Bosch coming up. He had an RBI double in the only at bat that he's had in the ball game. Orioles positioning their infield, outfield backing up. Bosch has got some power. And if any hitter's going to be advantaged today, it'll be the lefties getting a ball in the air to right. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Bosch, one of those players where you ask, what happened?
Yeah.
He put up such great numbers with Detroit, and it just didn't last. That ball towards second base. Flaherty. Giannis. Turn 2. Hernandez will move over to third base, but the big double play ground ball.
It's a clean double play turn by Flaherty and Giannis, and job by Thayer. Base hit, walk. Sometimes pitchers lose their composure a little bit. Stay within yourself and that understanding about executing the pitch. It's the right guy. Guys, Flaherty and Giannis with a clean turn.
Sam Travis up, runner at third, 2 outs. And the pitch will miss away for a ball. Travis, only time at bat, grounded out today. Managers in these spring training games, when they add players on, minor league call-ups, or even players who aren't starting, love to get them all in the game. You try and give everybody a chance, at least at this point of spring training. If you're on the trip, spring training road trip, get an at-bat or get an inning in the field.
Many times some minor league players that will come over and help a big league team out.
He helped them out right there. Sam Travis gets a base hit, an RBI, 2-out single. Hernandez will let it off with a double crosses, and it is a 5-1 Red Sox lead.
Chuck and duck right there. Pull it right back through the box. It'll be a good look. Whoa. Man, that ball is whistled. Great past the cap of Thayer there, but these a lot of the younger players that get brought over and maybe just invited for the day, a lot of times it's a reward. Maybe they had a good season the year before in single A or double A and just kind of not considered maybe a top prospect, but hey, here you go, have a chance to play in a big league game. And those are the opportunities though that sometimes can help kids just to show a little bit.
5 runs on 12 hits now for the Red Sox. 1 run, 11 hits for the Orioles. Brett's a strikeout victim, his first time up. Bryce Brent's out of Tennessee will take the pitch up high for a ball. He missed a good deal of last season, 2/3 of it with a fractured thumb, playing at Pawtucket for the Red Sox, so he's hoping for a healthy season. Supplemental pick, 38th. Pitch will be taken up high. 36th rather overall back in the 2010 draft. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Runner off first base. Brents goes after it. Foul tipped it into the mitt and is retired. So the strikeout recorded by Thayer. Run in, couple of hits, 1 left. Orioles get 1 more chance, trailing at 5-1. Orioles Spring Training Baseball live with MLB.com at Bat app. Stay connected all spring with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download it, MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet. With Mike Bordick, I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you on board with us here as we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Anthony.
Yeah, Varvaro coming into the ball game up and down. Last season, 409 earned run average, only 11 innings of work, 8 punch-outs, 6 walks, so gave up 14 hits. So he's got some work to do, but probably that experience last season helped him. Or came into camp with a little bit more confidence and understanding of what he needed to work on.
Varvaro limited last year to just 9 games. He came over from Atlanta to the Red Sox and then had a hip flexor problem that kept him out. So only 9 ball games after he'd worked 61 with the Braves. He has been virtually all of his pro career out of the bullpen. Henry Urrutia is going to get it at bat. Urrutia will come on in the leadoff spot for the Orioles. Ryan Flaherty. And then Christian Walker will be due up in the bottom half of the 9th inning. 5-1. The Red Sox on top. Orioles run coming in the 4th inning. Rickard got it. That down the line's a foul ball. Rickard had a ground ball that drove in a run after a leadoff triple by Hardy in the inning. Oh, the Orioles this season, looking ahead to spots they'll be looking to add some more positive numbers in. Both these clubs, Red Sox and Orioles, had a bit of a struggle on the road. Orioles 34 and 50 in away games. The Red Sox 35 and 46. Both will try and improve on that. That ball fouled back by Urrutia. Urrutia had some chances, Mike, and still kind of one of those guys you're taking a look at.
Yeah, they're just inconsistencies. That's the problem. And that's why what keeps players out of the big leagues. I mean, big league players make mistakes too, but just not quite as often. And when you talk about trust of a player, Buck isn't saying, okay, I trust you to go out there and catch the ball, or I trust you to go out there and hit 250. He trusts the situations of a game and understanding that a player knows what's going on, what to do and what not to do, where to throw the ball, those type of things. That's what the trust is. And hasn't quite gotten there yet with Henry.
Urrutia's got a base hit the other way. Brents will get it back in. So the Orioles get the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
It's a pretty nice piece of hitting right there from Urrutia. I think they thought that his long arms, all those levers might translate into a lot of power, but this is his swing. He likes to stay inside the ball and go the other way. He does have power, and actually better power to left field. I think a couple years he's had some problems trying to pull because everybody says, well, you got to hit home runs, you have to hit home runs, but yeah, staying within his game plan. He'll continue to put up offensive numbers, but maybe not the home runs that they would hope.
Ryan Flaherty. And Flaherty has picked up a walk in the ball game in his only at bat. Each team now with a dozen hits. 24 hits. The Red Sox and Orioles this afternoon's game. First baseman behind the runner. Pitch will be away. Mendez worked an inning, gave up a couple of hits, no runs. Kyle Martin, 2 innings, no runs, 2 hits. Good job by Johnson out of the bullpen. Brian Johnson, 3 innings, a run on 3 hits in the starter. Elias had a couple of innings, no runs, 4 hits. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way. 1 after 1. Down in the strike zone, 1 and 2.
I've seen Ryan chase many pitches this spring. And Ryan with the look, what the heck was that? This dive bomb down there, maybe the turbo change.
Ball, 2 strikes on Flaherty. Varvaro's delivery to him will miss inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Varvaro trying to wrap this thing up. Urrutia with the lead at first. Behind him, Sam Travis. 2-2.
Yeah, he has a firm changeup. His fastball 94 miles an hour right there. Changeup, ideally, pitcher coaches like it around 8 to 10 miles an hour off their fastball. He's throwing a pretty firm change, 88 miles an hour.
Two pitch and a good one. So Flaherty on a really well located fastball. 1 out.
Yeah, that was a good pitch. He just spotted up. Look at that downhill angle. He got over the top of that pitch and finished it off, painting 94 on the inside corner.
I'll bring up Christian Walker. One down, runner at first base. Walker flied out to right field. Deep in his only at bat in the game. He will sky that one back behind home plate.
Walker, good looking player. The Orioles have a couple nice looking young first basemen in their organization. Christian Walker, Trey Mancini, both offensive forces in the minor leagues.
0-1 delivery, and the pitch will be taken up high. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Did not see Young-Soo Kim. 2-year contract signed, free agent out of the Korean baseball organization. Has not played in the ball game today. He's not had a hit yet this spring, and probably Buck just trying to keep the pressure off a little bit and wanting to see Rickard play as well.
Yeah, Kim, he's starting to make the adjustment. Had some really good at-bats yesterday. Squared a couple balls up.
1-2 delivery, breaking ball that didn't. Takes the pitch inside. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Orioles come into the spring training 2016 with much the same questions that they had 2015.
Right.
What's the starting rotation going to be? How good's it going to be? And what are the corner outfield positions going to look like? As we said earlier, it looks like that right field situation is answered, at least for the moment. If the Alvarez deal is completed, Mark Trumbo is going to be in right field. Chris Davis will be at first base. And Alvarez will be the designated hitter for the Orioles. But that deal is not official. Hit it hard in the air, but way up. The wind will blow it over a bit. Lamar in there to get it. And Walker's out. 2 down. 2 away. Urrutia remains at first base. Orioles down to the final out to work with here in the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing 5-1. And Avery, he's had only 1 at bat and was struck out.
Xavier Avery came up with the Orioles and went off to the Tigers for a couple of years. And back in the system here.
Take the pitch away for a ball. So the Orioles staring an 0-8 start to the spring training. Red Sox will be 4-3. Two-0 count. Navarro just trying to throw some strikes here. Needing only 1 more out to finish up the ball game. Urrutia not being held at first base. He'll find the outside corner with that one for a strike.
Yeah, the Orioles definitely love to pick up a win here shortly, but it's not like, the end of the world for them here in spring training. When you watch the work that this team is putting in and the veteran players that they have, good things are going to happen.
93 on the fastball and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Orioles get a good start today from Miguel Gonzalez, a run on 3 hits over 2 2/3 innings. Home run by Holt. The run he gave up came in the first. And after that, some real good work by the bullpen. Just missed. One maybe up and away.
I like the fact that not a lot of chases. Some pretty patient at bats.
Very patient.
Both teams.
Yep. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. You're ready at first. We'll be running. And fouled off, and we will do it again. They're both the patience of the hitters and the limited number of walks in the ball game by both teams' staffs. Not bad. Full count delivery again. Again, you're ready, running. And he walked it. Well, the Orioles keep it alive here in the 9th inning. 2 on with 2 down.
You know, every guy in the on-deck circle hoping for a base hit or a walk. Every guy needs an at-bat, something that might spark a little extra interest to maybe make a team or something.
So with it, Alvarez will get another at bat. Alvarez on the pop out in the 8th inning. 2 down and 2 on. Giannis is the one on deck hoping for an at bat right now. Fastball is going to be in there for a strike on 1. Pitcher in this situation, even though this game looks like it's on a reach and over, there is something on the line. Managers here want to see strikes. Don't extend ball games.
Yeah.
Put this thing over with while we get the lead. Get them out of there. And while positive things can stay in a manager's mind, if you come into a situation like this, you start walking people. That also stays in a manager's mind.
Yeah, it does.
Guys hate that. We got this ball game won. Now get it over with.
Right.
0-2 the count. Alvarez waiting on it, swing and a miss. In the dirt, and a scoop made by Sam Travers. Wow. Ali Solis, the catcher, had trouble picking that up. But he's saved. Alvarez is struck out, and that's the ball game. No runs on a hit. A couple men left on base, and the Red Sox come away with a 5-1 win in the spring training broadcast. Join us again on Thursday. More action, spring training. It's the Orioles and the Yankees. Our coverage on Masson begins at 1 o'clock Thursday. For Mike Bordick and all of our crew here in Sarasota, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks, everybody. Great to be back with you here at Ed Smith Stadium. Our final, the Red Sox 5 and the Orioles 1. This has been a Masson presentation. Have yourself a great night, everybody. Adieu.